Banks has been fined more than $10 million for underpaying thousands of employees. The federal court found Commonwealth Bank failed to make top-up payments to more than 4,000 workers over several years. The Adelaide Fringe Festival kicks off today with more than 1,400 shows and 6,000 artists ready to roll. Fringe director Heather Kroll says the weather gods have delivered a perfect opening weekend.
The best time of year is about to start in Adelaide once again, and I think we're off to a really cracking opening weekend.
A Queensland farmer is being questioned over the death of his wife, who was run over by a tractor slasher south of Brisbane. Police found the 41-year-old woman dead after they arrived at the property around 9:30 yesterday morning. Officers say it's still too early to determine if the death was an accident or if foul play was involved. Charges are yet to be laid over a deadly shooting at a Super Bowl victory parade for the Kansas City Chiefs. US correspondent Jonathan Kersley has more.
Police have confirmed two of the suspects are juveniles, and the investigation is centred around a dispute that led to gunfire. Terrorism has been ruled out. The police chief in Kansas City says two of the suspects in custody are juveniles. Local hospitals say there are now 30 people who are injured. One person was killed. US President Joe Biden has used the shooting to call for gun reform across the country, while some of the Kansas City Chiefs players who attended the victory parade have urged for leadership to protect lives in the United States. Jonathan Kersley, 9 News.
Solar panels and electric vehicles could save the economy billions in energy costs by 2040. Research by Energy Economics and Financial Analysis shows at least $19 billion would be saved by avoiding network generation costs. Dr. Gabrielle Kuiper says small changes can make a big difference on energy bills.
It needs to be flexible and moved to the middle of the day to take advantage of all that cheap solar. And we also, and that will basically mean that prices will be much better for everyone, because the evening peak will be smaller, and that's mostly where prices are really high.
The number of mothers entering the workforce is increasing because of the cost of living crisis. Nearly 19,000 people aged between 40 and 44 started working last year. 60% were women. The age group made up a fifth of the workforce in that period. Federal police are threatening strike action over work conditions and pay, a first in the force's history. The union has lodged an application in the Fair Work Commission for a protected action secret ballot. President Alex Karuna says the AFP is the lowest paid police force in Australia.
We are struggling to attract and retain good, talented police officers into the police force, and the current cadre of police officers and unsworn and PSO members that we do have don't want to stick around if the pay offer is going to be low.
A single-dose injection could be the key to reversing symptoms of motor neuron disease and dementia. Gabrielle Hodson explains.
A team of neuroscientists at Macquarie University has developed a medicine that in mice can stop the progress of a particular type of frontal and temporal lobe dementia, as well as MND. It's reversed symptoms, with some mice regaining their strength after researchers in Sydney found a way to clear blockages linked to both diseases. SMH The Age is reporting that the medicine more or less acts as a vacuum cleaner, breaking up unwanted clumps of protein around another essential protein, allowing it to work normally. The researchers sparked a start-up, which is now seeking funds and approval to carry out human trials within 2 years.
Now to the FIVEAA sport. Here's Tom Wren.
Order a new roller door from Gliderroll before February 28 and receive a $100 gift voucher. T's and C's apply.
Thank you, Jess. A big night for the Port Adelaide Football Club as they launched their season and made 4 inductions into their Hall of Fame. They included 2004 Premiership players from the AFL, Brendan Lade and Peter Burgoyne, as well as Sandful greats David Brown and Marks Kretschmer, who each won 6 premierships. The Power will hold an internal trial tonight at Alberton, while the Crows will do the same, albeit in Port Lincoln, but Rory Sloane won't be a part of it despite making good progress from eye surgery. Meantime, a Hawthorn defender will miss the next 6 to 8 weeks after suffering a hamstring injury. Alex Riddell reports.
Changquoth Jath left the field during the second quarter of yesterday morning's intra-club match at Waverley Park. He was feeling some discomfort in his hamstring while sprinting. Scans have revealed he suffered a moderate grade strain. Hawthorn head Dr Liam West says given Jath's body of work over the summer months, including a recent trip to Qatar, they're confident he can make a full return to play in the early rounds of the season. Meantime, Hawthorn defender James Blank will miss the 2024 season after scans confirmed he ruptured his ACL.
To cricket now, Australia's right on top after day one of its test match against South Africa at the Wacker, with Elisa Healy narrowly missing out on a century. She was out for 99 as the Aussies finished the day at 5 for 251. That's after dismissing the Proteas for only 76. Meantime, the Redbacks take on Queensland in a Sheffield Shield match starting at Adelaide Oval a little later this morning. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
Sunny and 31 today, a top of 33 for tomorrow and up to 35 on Sunday. Right now it's 13 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
When you're a market-leading builder like Regent Homes, you never rest on your laurels. It's why Regent Homes is South Australia's only builder offering 3D virtual reality technology in their Envision Design Studio. At your first design meeting, you'll walk through your home in virtual reality. It's a wow moment, enriching your experience so you can make the right design choices from the start. Regent Homes. Innovative design, elevated living. Visit regenthomes.com.au.
It all started in the back shed. Maybe it started early. Or late. Either way, the Olympic Industry Sale means there's no need to wait. With big savings on our entire range of SA engineered sheds, garages, carports and verandas, you can afford to start something big, tough, or tasty in your own backyard. Start something with the Olympic Industry Sale. On now.
Is your bloated belly making you feel fat and miserable? Introducing new Caruso's Bloaties. Caruso's Bloaties contains peppermint and ginger, which are traditionally used in Western herbal medicine to relieve belly bloating, plus digestive enzymes to help your body digest lactose and fat. So if you're fed up with your bloated belly making you feel fat and miserable, try Caruso's Bloaties today. Caruso's Bloaties is available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Are you sitting down? Great, because what you're about to hear is unprecedented, unbeatable, unparalleled. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen is giving you 3 days, just 3 days, to walk in and drive out in your dream Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. All models, all colours, all ready to drive away. This Thursday, Friday and Saturday only, so hurry in. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen's unprecedented 3-day sale. On now, ends Saturday. Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
So you're welcome to Friday on 5AA Breakfast, the 16th of February. And the beginning of a really nice run of weather. We'll get into that with the Weather Bureau a little bit later this hour. Sapol will join us as well. Also, catch up with Jade Robin. She's out on the road with us today. Looking forward to chatting with Jade. In fact, it may be on the subject of our Meat Tray Friday. That's coming up very, very shortly. The Federal Opposition Leader, Peter Dutton, will be on the show after 7 o'clock today. Shaping up as a big day in federal politics too. Energy squarely in the focus of both major parties. The Prime Minister touring the Liddell Power Station to talk about his plan for the future. I'm sure the opposition leader will talk to us a little bit about his view of satiating Australia's energy needs into the future. That's all ahead on 5AA Breakfast, but it is Meat Tray Friday as well. David Pemberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will, TGIF, as they say. Thank God it's Friday. Yeah, absolutely, Meat Tray Friday. Yeah. I was just thinking this morning, how many Meat Tray Fridays have we done now?
How much meat have we given away?
Oh, imagine the size of the meat. It would be like sort of almost as big as Mount Lofty, I reckon.
Would it be, how many years
wouldn't look
worth
that pleasant in a giant pile, would it?
I'd look all right. By about midday, though, we can smell all right.
Yeah. It'd be a bit pongy.
It must be what would it be? 2 Hiluxes worth of meat?
Easily. Well, I reckon we started It was something, actually, it predates you and I. I think it started with Jane and Mark.
No, it didn't.
Didn't it?
No, it didn't.
But Jane played a role.
Jane was out on the road.
Oh, she was in Kapunda.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mm.
And she got him. She was given
When
a
she was
meat
out on the
tray.
road for us. Yeah.
That's right. And then we raffled it off.
That is exactly how it all
That's
started.
Right. But it was about 2016, I reckon.
Yeah, I think it's that. We might be into year 8 of meat trays.
What about that?
It's a hell of a lot of meat. More today, the meat tray, thanks to Liam Jones and the team, My Local Butcher, Chanella, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. They've been a huge part of it and provided so much of the ballast for the meat tray over the course of the last 8 years. We're asking you, given the country at the moment is in the throes of Swift mania, a mania the likes of which we've rarely seen in musical history, we're asking you about who you have been, or who or what you've been a super fan of. Have you ever considered yourself a super fan of anything?
So we might want to take you back to your adolescence, or it might be somebody you're a super fan of now.
Absolutely. So, there's buying a ticket to a show, or going to watch a footy team, or there's a whole range of things that are normal fandom.
Mm.
Then there's super fandom, where you had every poster, or you went to every show, or you watched every little skerrick of information about and documentary on. You dressed up like whatever it might well be. Who or what were you an absolute super fan of?
I reckon we'll have quite a few people listen to the program who, like me, in about 1981 were members of the Kiss Army.
You dressed up like Gene Simmons?
No, I dressed up like Ace Frehley.
Did you?
Yeah, he was my guy. The lead.
How do you
guitarist
pick
from
a Kiss guy? What's the process there?
Well, yeah, it's funny. I don't know. You just have one that you strike up. It's like, how do you?
Was it
become
their
best
face
friends with
makeup? Their
someone?
different face makeup?
Yeah, I really
the
like.
aesthetic?
I liked Ace's spaceman.
Does he do
aesthetic.
less tongue work than Gene?
Oh, he didn't do any of that.
Oh, well, that could have been it.
He's in pretty poor shape these days. He might currently be, in a retirement home somewhere with his tongue hanging out. But no, Ace was always the sort of he wasn't really the theatrical guy in the band. That was Paul and Gene up the front. But I think one of the things too about being a super fan is it often comes with parental disapproval, which makes it even more exciting. We'd have people listening who were being told off by their parents for buying Please Please Me, the first Beatles album, or for liking the Stones. Like it was... And Stones and the Beatles, they're easily, probably, historically, the two biggest forms of super fandom. But then you get, like, mega obscure fandom. We had a caller once, hopefully they're listening, a woman rang years ago about her absolute lifelong passion and obsession with Bette Midler. Remember her?
Yeah, yeah.
And she would habitually travel the world to see Bette Midler, and she'd met Bette Midler on several occasions, and just adored Bette Midler.
Who or what are you a super fan of? I reckon you just about qualify as a Sturt super fan.
Nah.
I don't know. You have the Rick Davies Jumbo Prince T-shirt that you walk around in this state. That's
pretty good, that T-shirt.
That's super fan areas.
But I don't go to every single game. I think to do that, to be a super fan, you've got to really...
But in this day and age, how many people go to every single game of a sample game? There'd be about 112 people, I reckon, at Sturt that would do that.
Yeah, probably the test is, do you go to every home game? I don't go to every home game.
Okay.
I go to a lot.
You'd be in the upper, 5%?
Maybe.
I mean, because there's a lot of people that identify as Sturt fans that don't go to many Sturt games.
Well,
and don't own much Sturt merch.
Across the SANFL, the finals attendance tells the story.
Yes, exactly.
Where the fair weather fans are, but it's a pity really, because if more people went to just one game a year, they'd go, you know what was really good and really cheap, and the kids really liked it. Go to the SANFL on Saturday.
Who or what are you a super fan of? You can could be absolutely anything. It doesn't have to be in the world of music or sport. Could be something else that we haven't thought of. That's why you're the super fan.
What's
I guess.
I'm saying the Pacers.
That's it. I mean, that's been a lifelong obsession since being a small child.
Did you ever have the music thing as a kid? Were you ever obsessed with a band?
No, not until I was old enough to sort of go see bands. When I was sort of out of high school, in high school, I was never into music really at all.
Yeah, right.
Before massively getting to what 60s and 70s music.
Yeah.
But then, the band I often talk about that I'm a fan of. This qualifies as super fan. A little band out of the WA called the Panics that I reckon I've seen about 7 times. And when the lead singer went to try to kickstart his solo career, I went to Jive, and I was one of about 15 people there who bought a ticket to go along and see.
15, really?
Yeah, it was tiny.
That's like
he came out and went, well, this is an intimate gig.
Oh, wow, that's hilarious. There's a band from Leeds called The Wedding Present who are superb. They're such a good band, lead singer David Gedge. And a mate of mine managed to get his address, a guy here in Adelaide, and wrote a letter to him saying, if ever you come to Australia, can you please play a show in Adelaide? Because I know about 60 people who'll definitely come to the gig. And he ended up doing it.
Wow.
The band came and they played it. When you mentioned Jive, that's what reminded me, because they played at Jive, and it was amazing, because on the night, the lead singer, Dave Gedge, was selling merch, but it was sort of like a friendly catch-up session, because he knew that pretty much everyone there was involved in this letter writing exercise to get them to play in Adelaide.
Get those Meat Tray. That's a great story. Get those Meat Tray Friday stories coming in. Own up. Who or what have you been a super fan of? 8223 You can text us on the Dutton's text line. Big Ten Ford, GWM Haval, Hyundai, Isuzu Ute, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Nissan Ram, Subaru and Volkswagen. Dutton's, easy to do business with.
Here's a stat you need to hear. Literally, 1 in 6 Australians are living with some sort of hearing loss. It's hard to notice because it creeps up on you, but it doesn't have to get in the way of things. Not if you do something about it now. Can Do Hearing can provide solutions to make living with hearing loss so much better. And your options are almost endless. Book an appointment with Can Do Hearing. candohearing.com.au. That sounds better.
Motoring with Adelaide Hills Motor Group.
It's the SUV brand that few people knew about, and now it's the one they can't stop talking about. Of course, I'm talking about the Ineos Grenadier, the premium old-school off-roader with slick modern tech. You've probably jumped on their website and built your own, but do yourself a favour and get behind the wheel. They've got a range of Ineos Grenadiers right here at Adelaide Hills Motor Group. They do live up to the hype. Come and take a look. See you soon at Adelaide Hills Motor Group, Glen Osmond Road at Fullerton.
Sold by McGain again.
And because there's still limited stock, it's important to get along to these open inspections.
Tomorrow from 11 to 11:30am, Zoe Ball and Mike Dobbin are opening 17 Dorita Street, Woodcroft. This 3-bedroom home close to local amenities offers great value in Woodcroft, featuring 2 separate living areas, updated kitchen with stainless steel appliances, a patio area for entertaining and a good-sized backyard. This is a price that would make the Eastern States weep. On a 639 square metre block, 589 to 619K.
What about that? And so will this one, because it's absolutely smack bang down there in the middle of beautiful Selix Beach. From 1 to 1:30 tomorrow, Mike and Zoe are opening 33 Oriana Drive. That's Oriana at Selix. This stunning family home has 5 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a formal lounge, stunning modern kitchen, open plan living and dining, with bifolding glass doors giving a seamless transition to an alfresco area with a great outdoor kitchen, plus a solar heated saltwater pool, double garage, drive-in workshop with a roller door, 980 to 1.06k.
Take a look at these properties and all the McGain listings at mcgain.com.au.
Hi, my name's Reece Kirkbright from Kirkbright Seafood. When we first heard our commercial on radio, for me, I'm pretty emotional. So you're almost in tears because you think our brand, what we stand for, is getting to people that don't know us. For those people that may not know our brand, they come in, they see what we're about. And also with the retail shop, the viewing point from a fish filling point of view is right there. So a lot of people got quite spellbound that very few fish shops you can actually see the fish being filleted. So as soon as they walk in, they turn right, their eyes light up and they can see the fish being filleted. So it's a connection with people that may not know us, and that's how we sort of seen it, and they get to know what we're about. So it was a huge moment, massive.
To get your message out there and grow your business, visit 5AA.com.au and hit the Advertise With Us link.
At Coles, there's great value hands down across fruit and veg this week. Like delicious 100% Aussie Hass avocados, just $1.50 each. Just $1.50. Get great value hands down at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
20 after 6. News headlines in a moment. It's a Friday morning, having a bit of fun with Meat Tray Friday. Thanks to Liam, joiner of the team, my local butcher, Chanellas, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. All the Swifties are out. But there's super fans that predate Swifties, and we've got a few of them listening right now. Sue and Mylor, what or who were you a super fan of?
Oh, Rick Davies, absolutely.
The Jumbo Prince.
Absolutely, from 1971. I still adore him. I kept every single clipping. I've still got all the clippings I kept of him.
What, newspaper clippings in a book?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Got his photo on the wall.
What about the footy budget, Sue? Did you have all the footy budgets from back then too?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I went to every Unley game. I sent my younger brother out onto the oval to get his autograph, and he ran straight past him and got Mick Noonan. And I said, "Didn't you see me?" I said, "There is a difference in size."
Yeah, I'll say. Only about a
just
metre.
love him, love him, love him, love him. He's the best, and I still collect articles. If I see anything in the paper on him today, I still collect stuff on him. He was just everything to me.
His Hall of Fame speech
love
was
the
something
Jumbo
out of the
Prince.
box, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's a funny guy.
That's a great call to get us started. Thank you, Sue. You're in the running to win the meat tray. Quentin on the Duttons text line says, guys, if I got one more number last Saturday night, I'd easily be a super fan of the Gold Coast Suns, travel the nation to see every game they play, but alas, I'm just a KO subscriber. Quentin is our resident Gold Coast Suns fan.
He is. We often get texts from Quentin.
I reckon a lot of people would do that.
The
I'd love
mighty
to do
Suns.
that. If you just had enough money that it didn't matter, you would go and watch your footy team everywhere over the course of a year.
Yeah.
Every second week you're just travelling interstate.
It would be great, wouldn't it?
It'd be so fun.
Yeah. See the country. Terrific. You might not be able to go to Tasmania though. See what's happened there?
Well, with the election.
Yeah. The Liberal Premier has said, I'm only going to stump up, 300 million max? Which is nowhere near enough, because it's going to cost like $1 billion to build the stadium. Now the opposition's saying, well, we're not even going to match that amount. And the AFL has said that they absolutely need, 23,000 seat stadium, or else
Surely that
they're
doesn't
not
cost
getting
$1
the
billion.
licence.
That doesn't cost $1 billion, though.
Apparently it does.
What, 23,000 seat stadium?
Brand new stadium, that's what they reckon it's going to cost.
Everything in this country costs a ludicrous amount of money compared to what they can do it for elsewhere in the world. You build a
Insane.
house, you build a hospital, you build a stadium. The Australia markup is a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's ludicrous.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is. Well, a lot of it's labour costs, which isn't necessarily
that's
a bad reflection on us. When you see
But considering
guys on construction sites in other parts of the world.
I'm no
safety
engineer,
gear.
but the stuff that you need to make buildings and structures originates in Australia too.
Yeah.
It's a little surprising that it's most expensive to do it here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Tony Modra says, Steve, on the Duttons text line. Another person says, there was another Sturt fan on here. Brian Wilson says, another texter that didn't put their name to it. Super fan of Brian Wilson. Keep your nominations or confessions if you might be a little bit embarrassed about it. Who or what have you been a super fan on over the course of your life? The Adelaide Fringe Festival kicks off today. Police say they'll be highly visible during the month-long event with foot and bike patrols, police horses, dogs. They'll be monitoring road use, crowds, and indeed any antisocial behaviour. This year's program includes more than 1,400 shows and 6,000 artists.
Can I just ask a question? Not being facetious there about Sapole, but why? Why are police issuing a statement saying they're going to keep an eye on everyone?
There's a full operation. They've got extended police powers
Well,
in a district that goes from...
The fringe riots of yesteryear must have passed me by.
It does. It's generally a pretty cordial
Why don't they
crowd.
send them to Ceduna instead?
Well, yeah. I mean, there is a special operation where they have special powers to use metal detectors to frisk people. It goes from essentially the Garden and Gluttony down
What's
to
been happening there? Has it all been
the
hushed
end of
up?
Rundle Mall.
Has people been getting abducted at the Garden of Earthly Delights? Or
I suppose is probably a greater concentration of drunken and disorderly behaviour, but yeah, you're right. I don't think cars are being overturned.
No, and I do think in the current climate where we've been talking about towns where law and order has completely broken down, unless we're expecting Ceduna-level mayhem down there on Rundle Street East, it just seems a little bit not very Sapole-esque. That's not the Sapole we know and love.
No, it's a bit curious. The Commonwealth Bank and ComSec have copped a record $10.3 million fine for wage theft. They underpaid 7,000 staff across Australia for 5 years. It's the biggest corporate fine ever handed out by the Fair Work Ombudsman.
How on earth aren't banks meant to be really good at counting?
This is what they do.
This
is kind of bread and butter.
That's your whole raison d'etre, to quote from the great film Raising Arizona. You've never seen that film, have you?
No, but I have seen that scene because you've sent it to me.
It's superb, isn't it?
The Yoda jammies.
Yeah, the Yoda jammies.
Federal police are threatening strike action over work conditions of pay, which would be a first in the Federal Police's history. The union has lodged an application in the Fair Work Commission for a protected action secret ballot. President Alex Caruana says the AFP is the lowest paid police force in Australia.
We are struggling to attract and retain good, talented police officers into the police force, and the current cadre of police officers and unsworn and PSO members that we do have don't want to stick around if the pay offer is going to be low.
The expansion of the Tea Tree Plaza Park and Ride opens to the public today. Capacity of this facility has increased from 700 car parks to 1,200, and the Premier says it will help meet a demand that they do know exists.
So people can more readily use services like the O-Bahn, which is one of the most popular in our city.
It's a great era to be a rock and roll legend, because not only have you got to be a rock and roll legend your whole life, you now get to sell your back catalogue for an astronomical sum. Rod Stewart has sold his song catalogue for almost $100 million to iconic artists. The deal reportedly also includes his publishing catalogue, recorded music, as well as name and likeness rights. So they might be able to send an AI Rod Stewart on tour in perpetuity with that deal.
Yeah, exactly. You just have this giant sort of, what are they called, hologram of Rod in his very tight white slacks.
12.9 degrees outside in the city right now. Top of 31 expected today. So it's relative to the rest of the country. We're pretty cool at the moment, but we won't be for long. 33 on Saturday, 35 Sunday, 37 on Monday, 36 on Tuesday, 34 Wednesday, 32 Thursday. Each and every day looks pretty sunny with almost nothing else of note on the forecast beyond the fact that it's hot and nice.
We got the big bosses flying in from Sydney on Monday. I was thinking with the weather, we'd better make a mental note to ourselves. Well, don't wear actual Billabong board shorts to work on Monday.
I don't know. They run FM stations too. They've seen worse.
They've seen much worse then.
Tom Wren's in the 5AA Breakfast Studio.
Those people are animals.
Order a new roller door from Glider before Feb 28 and receive a $100 gift card. T's and C's apply. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Don't wear shorts. I'm bucket. That's
well, at least you match it with a nice blazer, though, Tom.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're 50% presentable.
Fellas, big day for both the footy clubs. I know there are only internal trials, but you just don't want to see what happened at Hawthorn happen to the Crows or Port, do you, at this time? Key defender out for the season. Another wingman, come defender, Jath, out for 2 months with a hamstring.
What was the year when the very first game, and I'm pretty sure it was a trial game, where they were testing those stupid ruck pads?
Sean Wren.
It
was in a pre-season game. 99, I reckon.
Yeah, and it was like the very first minute of the game.
Yeah, that was horrible. That pad, they dug it up, and because it was evidence in a court case, they had to hold on to it for a number of years. So it used to sit in a storeroom at Footy Park. There was a big wooden box, and it was the mound of dirt and that plate in it. And it was evidence they had to hold on to it. Yeah, they couldn't throw it out.
Yeah, that was not good.
It's probably someone's got it. Probably it's.
Yeah, it'd be in someone's backyard.
But it was a horrible footy.
It was terrible. And look, that's just what we don't want to see. A great night last night. Port Adelaide launched its season and Hall of Fame as well. Shout out to those that were inducted, including the 2004 Premiership side. 20 years, of course, since they won that. Wow. That's gone by in a blink. Peter Burgoyne, fabulous player. David Brown, Will, you and I, early days, remember him at the Crows a little bit as well, but that long hair, number 21. Also, Brennan Lade, beautiful tap ruckman and forward as well. And a bit of a throwback to a 6-time Premiership legend, Mark Kretschmer. So, well done to all of those inducted into the club's Hall of Fame last night. A good night.
What a game of football that is too. It's one of the highest quality grand finals ever, the 04 grand final.
It was a ripper, yep.
If as a Crows fan you can disentangle yourself from the unpleasantness of the result, it was a hell of a game to watch.
And it was after 3 years of, not achieving what they probably should have.
They were a powerhouse side back then.
Yeah, they were very good.
Good on you, Rennie.
Good on you. Thanks, boys.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 31 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Jess Adamson.
From chips to replacements, make Complete Windscreens your insurer repairer of choice. CompleteWindscreens.com.au.
The Commonwealth Bank is facing one of the largest wage theft fines in history for underpaying thousands of staff for over a decade. A hefty $10.3 million was ordered by the federal court. The bank's been found to have evaded up to $16 million from more than 7,000 employees. The expansion of the Tea Tree Plaza Park and Ride opens to the public today. Capacity of the facility has increased from 700 car parks to 1,200. Premier Peter Malinauskas says it will help meet the demand they know exists.
So people can more readily use services like the O-Bahn, which is one of the most popular in our city.
Extra bus and tram services will be running from today as the Adelaide Fringe Festival officially gets underway. Bumper crowds are expected in the city from now until mid-March. A free CBD tram service will be on offer each Friday and Saturday night. Charges are yet to be laid over a mass shooting at a Super Bowl parade for the Kansas City Chiefs. At least 8 children were among the 22 people shot at. One person was killed. Manny Abaka was there with his daughter. He says terrified fans were running for cover as the event unfolded.
I saw the people screaming and yelling and frantically trying to escape whatever chaos was on the other side of that, right? And so I knew something was wrong. I picked up my daughter and I ran with everyone else. And so I was with Coach Reed. I was with players. We were hiding. We were all fearing for our lives.
Donald Trump will be the first former US president to face a criminal trial, accused of falsifying business records to cover up an affair with an adult film star. A New York judge has rejected his appeal to have the case dismissed, scheduling the trial for next month. Speaking outside court, Mr. Trump has again denied the charges, calling them politically motivated.
We want delays. Obviously, I'm running for election. How can you run for election to be sitting in a courthouse in Manhattan all day long? I shouldn't be in a courthouse for something that virtually every legal scholar says they don't understand it, there's no crime.
Researchers from Perth's Edith Cowan University are looking into whether someone's gut health could predict Alzheimer's disease later in life. Jake Batrick explains.
The study out of ECU suggests that the gut microbiota brain axis could offer insights into the early diagnosis and treatment of neurodegenerative disorders, including Alzheimer's and depression. There's around 1,000 species and 7,000 strains of bacteria in the human intestine, and an imbalance has been found to implicate various diseases, including Alzheimer's. 1 in 10 Australians over 65 have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and 30% of people over 85 years old have the disease. Alzheimer's disease has been recognised as a global health priority by the World Health Organisation. In Perth, Jake Batrick, 9 News.
And Melbourne scientists are working towards making liver failure a thing of the past. Researchers at the Peter Mac have discovered how the organ regrows after injury. The team have tracked the gene pathway which triggers regeneration and believe drugs could prompt liver renewal. Well, the bedazzlers are working overtime, cowboy hats are being dusted off, and everybody seems to be sporting a friendship bracelet. With Taylor Swift in town, the first concert of her Australian tour on tonight at the MCG. Isabella Stokowski reports.
Swifties are counting down the hours until they see the pop star perform live at the MCG, and Melbourne is certainly ready for it. Metro putting on an additional 150 services with advice to take the train, tram, bus or free shuttle. Driving won't be a good option. Plus, if you do take the tram, some of her biggest hits will be played at some stops between 1 and 8 p.m. Fans have travelled from far and wide to be here in Melbourne this weekend, and the economic impact is going to be significant. It's an injection of around $1.2 billion predicted for the state's economy. In Melbourne, Isabella Stashkovsky, 9 News.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new roller door from Gliderroll before February 28 and receive a $100 gift voucher. T's and C's apply.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Jess. Let's start with a bit of footy. Port Adelaide coach Ken Hinkley insists there are plenty of positions up for grabs ahead of the new season. The Power will hold an internal trial at Alberton tonight. And speaking at the club's season launch last night, Hinkley said everyone has a chance to impress before round one.
What I'd like to think is every player thinks there's an opportunity for them in the team if they produce their best football now, and I think that's pretty clear. We've got some people who are known in our forward line and known very well, and we expect that they'll still be very, very good players for us, but there's some great opportunities for the younger people and some people who haven't had the opportunities that they would have liked in the past.
And it was a big night for the club as they also inducted 4 individuals into the club's Hall of Fame, as well as the 2004 AFL Premiership side. Those individuals were David Brown, Brendan Lade, Peter Burgoyne and Mark Kretschmer. Meantime, the Crows are in Port Lincoln ahead of their internal trial, which will be held later this afternoon. Let's go to cricket. Australia has dominated the opening day of the one-off women's test against South Africa in Perth. After winning the toss, the Aussies have finished at 5 for 251 at stumps, leading the tourists by 175 runs. And a blow for the Matildas ahead of their final Olympic qualifiers against Uzbekistan. World Cup hero Courtney Vine has withdrawn from the squad for personal reasons. Wanderers striker Sophie Harding has been called in. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thank you, Tom. Now the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
31 and sunny today, tomorrow 33 and sunny, up to 35 on Sunday and 37 on Monday. Right now it's 13 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. This is 5AA Breakfast.
24 to 7 with your assistance. We're talking super fandom for the meat tray this morning with Swift Mania gripping the country. The meat tray will go to someone who tells a tale of their own super fandom. Thanks to Liam Joyner and the team, my local butcher Chanella's 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. Wally on the Duttons text line is a huge fan of Australian Survivor. Super fan. Never misses an episode. Watch it. He says you have to watch from go to woe to appreciate the strength and strategy of the show and get to know the survivors. I never miss an episode. It's fantastic. That's what we're after, Wally. Super fandom can come in all sorts of forms. Could be a TV show.
We have more than one listener called Wally, because Wally the Walnut has texted in on the Duttons text line as well, saying that he was a super fan of Ralph Zip Zap Sewer back in the 70s and 80s. Of course, Ralph Zip Zap Sewer, the legendary player.
One of your favourites.
The mighty Woodville Peckers, latterly the Woodville Warriors.
Kaz says, morning folks, I'm a super fan of oats, especially the fermented Scottish type, as well as porridge. Kaz says, P.S. porridge for breakfast again today.
This is Kaz keeping the breakfast
an
cereal
oats super
theme
fan
going from yesterday.
I like it, thank you, Kaz. Sally in Hillcrest, what are you a super fan of?
Well, this is a bit out of the box, but I'm a super fan of my kids.
Oh, that's nice, Sally.
Lovely.
What's their special quality?
My daughter's is resilience. She's been through a lot of surgeries and stuff and just powered through them all. And my son's is just his personality. He gets along with everyone. He makes friends easy. He's always the caring person of the group. But when they were younger, you know, going to all their dance concerts, their dance rehearsals, everything they did, anything the kids do at school, I try and always make sure I'm there because, I'm a huge fan of them. They're brilliant kids.
How old are they now, Sally?
19 and 17.
That's a really sweet call, Sally. I reckon every parent listening would agree with you.
Yeah, that's lovely. Like that. Good on you, Sally. Let's go to Parafield Gardens. Dean, good morning.
Good morning, guys. I used to do security at the Adelaide Oval, Dutton Lee Chapel stands, and come across this very elderly. They're in the mid-90s, and they go around the world every few years, and they watch a game. They said, as far as they're concerned, Adelaide Oval's the best oval they've come across in the world, and I helped them on a little bit. When I have a little bit of a break in the stand, I kept an eye on this couple, and I'd go down to the bar when I had a little break and give them a glass of water and ice. And when the sun started going over to the western side and shining on the eastern side, I put them up in the shade halfway up the stand to keep in the shade. And they said, "You're the reason why we love Adelaide so much." So just love the. I'm like KG. I love the Adelaide Oval and like promoting it in every shape and form.
Oh, good on you, Dean. You're an ambassador for the Adelaide Oval.
For sure. I reckon a lot of the blue coat people who work there feel that way as well, because a lot of them are older people.
They're lovely.
Yeah, they are.
It's good.
There's a lady called Joan who's always
service.
on the list on the eastern side, western side, and I see it every single home game. So, hey, Joan, she's probably listening now.
Yeah.
If you are, Joan, g'day. Look forward to seeing you round one.
20 minutes to 7. Did you know Henry Young was on TV last night?
I caught the tail end of this. I didn't see it, and they. What program was it?
Because he was on the front bar. Henry Young, of course, the 100-year-old tennis player, the world record holding now, oldest competitive tennis player in the world, who's travelling around to play tournaments still, internationally.
He was in Spain last year.
He was on the front bar last night.
I like the competitive aspect of tennis. That's what I love, and I've always been competitive, and so that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
And
You
it's
play
one
singles
of the few
as well as
sports
doubles,
that
don't
you could play for a lifetime,
Yes.
and enjoy for a lifetime.
Spot on.
And it's no effort for me to play tennis. I love it.
Henry, other than tennis, what are some other tips for a long life?
Well, I look after myself, you know. In other words, I watch my diet, I exercise, and I suppose that I concentrate on those things which are with my diet. The things that are completely fulfilling, like milk, is all you need for a full life. And there's honey,
Yes.
which, for the young bees, and I like that. Then there's the cereals for the roots to get them going. In other words, you've got to have something there.
He proves that age is just a number.
Oh,
Henry
yeah.
Young. Like, to
He's a
listen
force
to
of
him
nature, that bloke.
speak, forget the fact that he plays tennis. Forget that. Just listen to him speak. He sounds infinitely more capable than Joe Biden. Don't you think? His clarity of speech, his purpose of speech.
Well, we had him in the studio on his birthday last year when he was sitting right there 2 feet away from me. And, I gave him that bottle of St. Hugo, and we gave him the can of tennis balls. And, there's poppers going off, there's streamers. He's just sitting here chatting away. Like, there was not overwhelmed by anything.
He might be.
He's a really super impressive man.
I don't think Guinness can measure this, but in addition to being the oldest tennis player, he might be the healthiest 100-year-old on planet Earth. Well, he seems that way. I'm sure he's 100. He's going to have concerns, but...
Mate, I played a game of tennis against him, and we were playing doubles, and he beat us.
Yeah.
Him and his partner, Jerry, who he regularly plays with, they're quite the combo. They had the court covered. Like, he goes out there. It was me and a doubles partner with his son. He cleans his son up. His son's in his 60s. It's just remarkable. But, and the thing about him too, he's from that era where if you're going out there to play, you're playing. And he doesn't want anyone mollycoddling him like, oh, we'd better just keep hitting him dollies over the net, because he would just clean you up.
And you're no mug. You beat Mark Woodford that time.
I never beat Mark Woodford.
You took a game off him.
Part of it is genetic, because he is Henry's uncle was who he's named after, was the Geelong captain at the turn of the 19th to 20th century. And he's in the Geelong Hall of Fame. He would habitually run from his house, which was not in Geelong itself. Every match day, he'd run the full length of Corio Bay to go to games.
To go to the game. He'd run to the game.
Yeah, he'd run to the game. But I think this guy over-exercised so much because he ended up dying of a massive heart attack while he was swimming in a public pool in Geelong.
Right.
In his 40s. But actually the cause of death was drowning.
Well, there's that theory that you hear that I'm not sure there's any science to it whatsoever, but it's a saying that people like, especially people who don't like exercise, like to repeat, and that's that every heart has only so many beats in it. And it can be overworked. I mean, there's certainly some science to it, because you see often marathon runners and people that are super fit have heart issues early, but not Henry Young. What an absolute superstar. I tell you what,
the Ukrainian chap, because we broke that story in the first instance about the clash of the Centurions when he was going to play off at the Australian Open against Stanislavski, Leon Stanislavski was the Ukrainian chap he was going to play against, but they didn't actually have a game. They just had a bit of a hit up. Because if it was a game...
Because it wouldn't have been a contest.
He would have wiped the floor with him.
Yeah.
It would have been an absolute debacle.
He'd qualify for the meat tray, Henry Young. He'd nominate tennis as the thing that he's a super fan of, I think. If you've got something you're a super fan of, or you have been in your past, maybe you grew out of it, that counts too. We've got a meat tray that we're going to give away by 9 o'clock this morning. 8223 0000 is the number to ring, or you can text on the Dutton's text line, Big 10 Ford, GWM Haval, Hyundai, Isuzu, Ute, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Ram, Subaru and Volkswagen. Dutton's easy to do business with. We're going to check traffic, police and weather coming up very shortly. Then we're going to check in with Jade Robran, who's out on the road for us this morning. When the UV is 3 and above, cover up, use sun protection, stay SunSmart. Download the SunSmart app.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. Cheers, looking the goods for the driving town on Friday. It's always nice, isn't it? Accident and breakdown free. Do have some works to keep in mind at Windsor Gardens, at Olds Road near Lagonda Drive. We'll get busy later on at Glenside, Fullerton Road near Mulberry Road, and starting to build now South Road at Tonsley with those road plates in use there. Cameras this morning, Gorge Road, Athelston, and Church Road at Campbelltown. Grab a crazy deal on a new LG TV at JB Hi-Fi, like $1,000 off a 65-inch OLED. JB's 2023 LG TV run-outs on now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
A must-see at Fringe this year is the grilling season with Annabelle Crabb. In an Adelaide Fringe exclusive, Annabelle Crabb dives into her 25-year political career to spill the tea on her strangest and most hilarious political encounters. Hear the tale of the gnocchi that foretold the end of a political career, the scariest salad in politics, and the amazing things you can learn from onions. Don't miss the grilling season with Annabelle Crabb. 2 weekends only at Gluttony. Book at adelaidefringe.com.au.
Hi, I'm Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop Real Estate. Since March 2020, the value of an average home in Adelaide South has grown by $288K, in the north $243K, and in the west by $273K. And the median price in central Adelaide and the hills has soared by $358K. From Westbourne Park to Windvale, from Kensington Park to Kilkenny, we've led the charge with 52 suburb records, more than any other agency in South Australia. Go to toop.com.au to find out more.
The Milwaukee Carpentry Range. Quality cuts, solid fastening, professional finishing. Milwaukee's expanding range of cordless power tools are designed for professional carpenters. Accurate, precise, and easy to use. Combining the latest in brushless motor technology, intelligent electronics, and advanced red lithium-ion batteries. Milwaukee's Carpentry Range gives you power, runtime, and durability for the most demanding jobs. Learn more at milwaukeetool.com.au. Milwaukee, nothing but heavy duty.
Little Jack Horner sat in a corner eating a freshly baked pie. He put in his thumb, pulled out an Aussie plum and said, Aldi's plums are so good I could fly. Jack, no! Now only $3.49 per kilo at Aldi. Good. Different.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. Laxmi's Indian Restaurant was recently awarded Best Indian Restaurant in South Australia. Open every day for lunch and dinner. Laxmi's Tandoori Restaurant, 295 Glen Osmond Road.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
12 to 7. Like days like this, it's good news on the weather front. John Fisher at the Weather Bureau has the specifics for us. Morning to you, John.
Morning.
Take us through the weekend.
Yeah, looks pretty good. Certainly the warm-up continues, so after a milder few days here in Adelaide, we're kind of back to near or above average temperatures, so going for another sunny day today, 31 degrees, currently around the 13-degree mark in the city, and no real change in sight from the dry and sunny conditions, just the temperatures continuing to climb though, so up a couple of degrees for both Saturday and Sunday, so going for 33 degrees for Saturday and 35 for Sunday. So, look, still going to see some moderate sea breeze along the coast, kind of keep temperatures a couple of degrees cooler than the city. But, generally pretty warm weather coming up, guys.
Excellent. Sounds good, John. Real blast of summer. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Let's head to Safepole. Senior Constable Kate Dawson's on the line. Kate, tell us how a crash at Cowandilla led to a hospital visit.
Yeah, this was unfortunately a trip to the airport turned into an emergency room trip. It happened about 4 a.m. this morning. Police were called to the intersection of Sir Donald Bradman Drive and Marion Road at Cowandilla after reports of a crash. So a big alleged Haval SUV ran a red light and was T-boned by a truck. The crash also brought down a light pole. Thankfully, the driver of the truck, a 56-year-old man, wasn't injured. The 47-year-old rideshare driver was also not injured, but he's been issued with a $639 fine for failing to stop at a red light. And his poor old passenger, a 46-year-old overseas visitor, was taken to the Royal Adelaide by ambulance as a precaution, and we're hoping that he can catch another flight soon.
Oh, the poor bloke.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Now, Kate, I'm super excited about this next story. It sounds like an accidental repeat of what we discussed yesterday, but almost unbelievably. So, police dog Edge...
The Edge.
He's trapped another guy, this time in Parkholme. This is the second day in a row that Edge has got his man.
Yeah, that's right. Edge is on night shift, so everyone better watch out. Yeah, this one was a really good story, actually, and he was found hiding in a very questionable location. So it all happened about 1:40am this morning. Police were called to FIVEAA Avenue after a vigilant resident observed someone on their CCTV camera acting suspiciously around cars in the street. So the witness was able to provide police with a really good description of the man, including that he was riding a push bike. So Southern Patrols arrived on the scene, and they found the push bike just abandoned on the street, but then they saw this man running north on Bowker Street. So patrols gave chase, but they lost him as he turned onto Kunjia Street. PD Edge was called in to help with a search while patrols cordoned the area. An Edge searched along Kunjia Avenue, indicating on a wheelie bin. At the same time, the homeowner came out and said, "I think there's somebody in the bin." So inside, Edge located a 30-year-old man. In his possession, also located a small amount of methamphetamine and 2 ice pipes. So he's been arrested and charged with being unlawfully on premises and breach of bail, and he didn't apply for bail, so he will appear in court today.
What about PD Edge, though? So, like,
Edge
thinking back to those shows like Janus and Phoenix, where whenever the cops had a big pinch, they'd all stand around Friday, get slabs of VB. And what's the dog equivalent of that? Is there some sort of, end of the
or
week
something, I don't know.
box of schmackos or something for Edge tonight?
Yeah, I hope so. No, he earned a good sleep, I think, and then, I'm sure his handler will give him a big treat later in the day.
Big tummy rub. What a good story. PD Edge, don't mess with the Edge.
Imagine hiding in the wheelie bin and hearing the dog
With your
sniffing
meth
around,
box.
knowing inevitably nothing good was going to happen.
That is just such a shocking advertisement yet again for methamphetamine, isn't it? Like, you're running around Parkholme off your chops with meth pipes, being chased by an Alsatian, you have to hide in a silo bin. Surely there's better ways to spend your evening.
That doesn't feel like a great
Don't you
life,
think?
does it?
If I was editing the Tizer, I'd say to someone today, I want to know everything about this dog. I want to do a double-page spread in tomorrow's paper.
Yeah.
And I want to do recreation maps of Edge's 2 big pinches, get photos of Edge with his handler, interview the copper who looks after Edge. We should next week see if we can get...
Can we interview the Edge?
Yeah, get the Edge in studio with the Edge's handler. Or maybe do it out there in the park. In the middle of
Edge needs to be celebrated as a hero.
Yeah. That's a great story.
7 to 7, let's head down to the airport because that's where we find Jade Robran first thing this morning. How are you, Jade?
I'm great. The directors of Love Actually need to be at the airport today. There is so much love in the air for Taylor Swift. The pop sensation has touched down in Australia. She touched down in Melbourne at about 1 a.m. in the morning. And it is chock-a-block full of Swiftie fans jumping on flights, heading over to go and see her. It's really sweet. All the shops down here are belting out Taylor Swift tunes. So if you're not a fan, maybe don't board your flight today. There's mums and daughters. There's besties, sisters, dads and daughters. They're all, everyone's dressed up in costume. There's a lot of glitter. There's a lot of cowboy hats. I'm learning a lot. I thought I knew a bit about Taylor Swift, but there's all these little hidden secrets, like all these little wristband things that all the fans swap, and blue nails and yellow nails and pink nails. There's all of these little nods. So there's a lot of people dressed up in character down here. I actually tried to get last-minute tickets last night. I shook it off and jumped online. There were about 100 or so tickets available at about 4 o'clock, but I didn't get any. There was no bad blood between me and the system. But I tell you what, the people that did get the tickets that are boarding the flights, they are jumping out of their skin with excitement. Here's what a few have had to say. Bella, the countdown is on. The concert is tonight. How excited are you?
So excited. It's crazy.
How long did you have to line up for tickets for?
We waited like a whole day for the early release, and then we did the Monday as well. So
Danielle, you're off to Taylor Swift. How's the excitement levels?
It'll hit me when I wake up, but I'm very excited. So yes, we've been waiting a long time. Very, very excited.
What are you most excited about?
She's a great performer. This will be our third time seeing her. Yeah, so I didn't want to miss out. I've loved her since she was like really little, so it was nice to be like true long-term fan, all of us. But I just think seeing all of her eras, as I said, the Eras tour, like just seeing everything from her very beginning stuff when she was so young, right up into her new stuff. So she's a great, just the performance in general.
Mia and Sophie, you are on your way. Okay, how does this work? You've got a ticket, Mia. Sophie, you don't.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It just works that like Mia's going to go to the concert with the people that she got the ticket from, and she's going to have an amazing time. She's going to take so many videos for me, and then I'm going to be in the hotel room crying myself to sleep. No.
Right, you have got yourself a costume just in case.
Just in case, yeah. I'm prepared if the impossible happens and I manage to find one at the last hour. So
I'm here with Jacinta and Emma, who are about to board their flight. Okay, you have got the biggest grin on your face. You are pumped.
He's so pumped. It's been crazy to be looking forward to this for actual months, and now it's happening today.
Magnificent work, Jade. On reflection, given you missed out on last-minute tickets, it feels a bit cruel sending you to the airport this morning, so we apologise for that.
Yeah, sorry, Jade.
A cruel summer, guys, a cruel summer. It's a love story that I'm not going to get to see the end of.
Have you ever seen her, Jade?
Never, but I know that you have.
Yeah, years ago on the 1989 tour, and it was excellent. She's a phenomenally talented musician, and I don't know, you've had a few people going, oh, I'm so sick of hearing about her. Well, I just say to them, we've had Beatlemania, we had the Bay City Rollers. It's, not the first time young people have become passionately excited about someone, and I can think of worse performers, particularly for young girls, to be excited by, because she's a really good role model. She's smart, creative, she's decent, she doesn't tart herself around. I think she's a really good person for young people to look up to.
Do you know what? Boo-hoo to those people that are poo-pooing on Taylor Swift, because in this big bad world that we're in right now, to see how happy all these people are down here, it is absolutely sensational. So I say spread some more Taylor Swift glitter and shake it off, naysayers, because she is here to stay for the next few weeks.
Great work, Jade. Thank you for that. It is lovely to hear people so excited and happy. There's no better feeling than that moment when your bags are checked and you walk through the gates and you're going to do something you're really excited about. It's one of the most pure moments of joy you can have. And
well, Jade's right. I mean, so this is one of the biggest stories in the world right now, and you go, oh, well, what are the other really big stories in the world? Gaza? Ukraine? The fact that the power supply doesn't work at all in Victoria? What else we get? It's a happy story. And I know this week, our youngest kids have spent the whole week every night when they get home from school, they wait for Soph to come home from work. And they've been sitting there making bangles with her, because Soph and one of her old school friends, they're flying to Melbourne on the weekend, and they're taking all their beads, and she spent the week making them with the kids. Well, that, to me, is wholesome family fun.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I tell you what, if it's not for you, though, maybe our next guest is Peter Dutton's going to join us. I don't think he's a Swiftie. We won't ask him about it.
Don't think he's got any bangles on.
Because there's plenty to talk to him about at the moment. Power is going to be a big issue, but of course, a lot of South Australian stuff we'd like to ask him about as well. Peter Dutton, our guest, next on 5AA Breakfast.
Time is up. Get your tickets in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery by midnight tonight for your chance to win a life-changing $1 million. You could become an instant millionaire. Plus, your tickets stay in for more than 12,000 draws, including the Scott Salisbury Grand Prize at Henley Beach. Hurry, early bird deadline is midnight tonight. homelottery.com.au. Licence M14493.
The passing of someone close places unique stress on family and friends. At this time, Farrell and O'Neill Funerals are here to provide reassurance and peace of mind. Farrell and O'Neill offer creative guidance and advice to tailor a service that best honours your loved one. Whether a large gathering or a small, intimate service, Farrell and O'Neill share their generations of experience in tailoring a unique and meaningful farewell. Proudly SA family owned and operated, because it's personal.
Unlock a world of experiences with Colette and Phil Hoffman Travel. Explore Britain and Ireland, indulge in the flavours of Spain and Portugal, or experience the enchanting landscapes of Central and Eastern Europe on a Colette guided tour. Book now to save up to 15% on all tour styles over the European summer in 2024. Offer ends 26th of February. Contact Phil Hoffman Travel and ask for Colette, or visit pht.com.au.
It's Edward from Edwardstown Mazda, South Australia's #1 destination for Mazda. Edwardstown Mazda has a very serious offer, so this is my most serious voice. This month gets savings equal to the on-road costs, plus free servicing on all 2023 plates. T's and C's apply. I'm Edward from Edwardstown Mazda, and I'm being very serious right now.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 31 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Jess Adamson.
Chipped windscreen? Complete Windscreens can repair it from just $99. Look for the big red koala.
A trip to the airport this morning has turned into a trip to the emergency room for a rideshare passenger. Their SUV was hit by a truck at Cowandilla and then slammed into a light pole. It happened at the intersection of Sir Donald Bradman Drive and Marion Road around 4 a.m. The passenger, a 46-year-old overseas visitor, was taken to hospital as a precaution. The rideshare driver wasn't injured but issued with an expiation notice for failing to stop at a red light. The truck driver also escaped unhurt. A new report shows more than half of South Australians would wait until they're threatened by a fire before leaving. The research comes as the CFS commemorates Bushfire Resilience Day, an annual event to remember and honour those who died in a fire. New figures show South Australia's agriculture industry has delivered strong results despite inflation and rising interest rates. The figures show total revenue was up 7% to $18.5 billion for 2022-23. Primary Industries Minister Claire Scrivens says it's a fantastic tick for the state's economy.
So that's really huge for our state and a real testament to the strength of our primary industry sector and also the hard work that our farmers and foresters and fishers do.
The federal opposition is adamant changes to Stage 3 tax cuts won't do enough to combat growing costs of living pressures. Reforms passed through Parliament will see the average worker gaining more in their pay packet from July. But Coalition leader Peter Dutton says the increase will do little to assist with household budgets.
It's okay for Bill to claim that people are getting $15 a week on the 1st of July, but it's just being eaten up when you go to the supermarket or when you're paying your insurance bill. Gas is up by 29%, electricity up by 20%. The government promised all of those prices would go down, and there's just been absolutely none of it.
A Queensland man will face court today after the death of a woman on a rural property. The 41-year-old woman was killed after allegedly being run over by a tractor slasher yesterday morning. The 44-year-old man has been charged with murder and interfering with a corpse. A growing number of Australians are leaving their 9-to-5 employment to secure more flexible jobs. Figures from People to People show more than half of employees may leave their current job over reduced work flexibility. 35% are planning on working from home. Managing Director Catherine Kennedy says the trend may become a growing concern for employers.
Employers who are very, very rigid in terms of working in the office and no flexibility around working hours, they will find it harder to attract the best quality talent because it's what the market is demanding. So in the long term, I think it definitely is something that employers need to be very mindful of.
Singer Rod Stewart has sold his song catalogue to iconic artists for almost $100 million. The deal reportedly also includes his publishing catalogue, recorded music, as well as name and likeness rights. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new roller door from Glider Roll before February 28 and receive a $100 gift voucher. T's and C's apply.
Here's Tom Wren.
Great stuff. Thank you, Jess. Let's start with footy and plenty of football around. Adelaide will be without former skipper Rory Sloane for tonight's internal trial in Port Lincoln as he continues to make his recovery from eye surgery. Darcy Fogarty has been battling a tight quad but should be okay for the match. Port Adelaide, meantime, will also have an internal trial at Alberton after holding their season launch and Hall of Fame dinner last night at Adelaide Oval. Peter Burgoyne, Brendan Lade, David Brown and Mark Kretschmer were all inducted. Let's go to cricket. The Aussie women have dominated the opening day of their one-off test against South Africa at the FIVEAA. The home side won the toss and dismissed the Proteas for just 76 runs. Darcy Brown with a 5-wicket haul. The Aussies were 3 for 12 but recovered beautifully to finish at 5 for 251 at stumps, thanks largely to a 155-run partnership between Beth Mooney and skipper Alyssa Healy. Mooney telling Fox Cricket it was a great day for the home side despite temperatures getting into the 40s.
It wasn't too hot this morning. There was a nice breeze across the ground, but it certainly got a bit stiller as the day went on. So out there batting was pretty tough, but it was nice to have a really big partnership with Midge, who batted beautifully.
Briefly elsewhere, 18-year-old Iona Anderson has won silver in the women's 50-metre backstroke at the Swimming World Championships. And Tiger Woods is back on the golf course at the Genesis Invitational in California. He's made a solid start too, currently sitting at 1 under, putting him only 5 shots behind leaders Jordan Spieth, Patrick Cantlay and Will Zalatoris. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thank you, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
When you cover things, they last longer. Same goes for you. Save your skin. Download the SunSmart app.
Morning there. Roads are looking really good today for the drive-in, hassle-free and breakdown-free, which is nice. Do have some works to look out for. You'll find on Windsor Gardens, at Alta Road near Lagonda Drive. Also at Glenside, Fullerton Road near Mulberry Road. We are getting a little bit slow at the moment. South Road at Tonsley. Got some road plates in use there which slow up the drive-in. And look out for cameras Marl Road, Manham and Lyons Road at Holden Hill. The big one is on now at Nissan. For 4 days only, get an unbeatable offer on select Nissan models. Hurry, this offer ends Saturday. Search Nissan or contact your local Nissan dealer today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
31 and sunny today, 33 tomorrow, 35 on Sunday and up to 37 on Monday. Right now it's 13 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
Seven after 7, if you're watching along on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream, you'll note we're being joined live in the studio by the Leader of the Opposition, Peter Dutton. Peter Dutton, good morning to you.
Good to have you here, Mr. Dutton.
My pleasure.
First chance we've had to chat to you for what's going to be a pretty big year politically. If you don't mind, we want to start with something local that I think it's a local story that has national ramifications. We had one of your MPs, Rowan Ramsey, the member for the Far North Seat of Grey, on the show yesterday, and it was less a political interview, more sort of grassroots tales from a city that is in the throes of some really unpleasant lawlessness at the moment. One of the things he raised, and he said he doesn't see it as the ultimate sort of silver bullet, but he's wondering why we don't bring back the cashless debit card. Is that something you think should be looked at in towns like Ceduna? Would you, as Prime Minister, move towards reintroducing those cashless welfare cards?
Pembo, the short answer is yes, and it's because it works and it's been demonstrated to work. And I think somebody like Rowan Ramsey, who is just a down-to-earth, roll his sleeves up guy, he's not playing politics here. He's got a real passion for his community. He's seen the before and after, and it's not just in Ceduna. If you go to Leonora, Laverton in rural WA, for example, other places in the Northern Territory, in far north Queensland, where there's an alcohol management problem, where you've got drugs coming into the community, people exploiting the money that's going into those Indigenous communities, the violence that results from having withdrawn the card. So the evidence was that when the card was being used, people were buying food, they were buying fresh fruit, they were supporting their families. When the card goes, the money gets spent on grog and drugs, and the food's not being purchased or prepared for the kids, and it's a human tragedy. So yes, there's a very strong argument for it, and the government really had no compelling argument as to why they abolished it, only that it was a philosophical thing for them, claiming that it was racist to have Indigenous people or people with drug dependency, etc., on one of these cards.
Amanda Richworth, I spoke to her last night, and it doesn't sound like her position's changed at all, but she said, as far as the government's concerned, there was no evidence that the cards made any difference.
Well, I just don't know how you can sort of look someone in the eye and say that, because it's not true. The evidence out of the Northern Territory, out of South Australia as well, is very clear. And Go and have a chat to the mayor from Laverton or Leonora, or people who live in the communities. The spike in violence is evidenced by the police activity. And as I said, there was never any argument from the government as to why they were withdrawing it, only that they thought that this was a discriminatory policy, and that just didn't make any sense.
The storms in Victoria yesterday knocked out at one point in time power to 500,000 odd homes. It's reignited a debate about Australia's energy security, and appreciating that was obviously a storm. It does revive questions about what contingency there is in the system, what's available. The Prime Minister today is touring the Liddell Power Station. What's your plan for getting Australia to net zero emissions by 2050 at the same time as building in enough contingency that we don't see events like that?
Well, as we've seen in Victoria, but obviously here in South Australia, elsewhere across the country as well, we can't just hope that the lights are going to stay on. There needs to be proper planning, and it's long-term planning that's required in the network. I don't believe that the government can meet their 050 target without the ability to firm up renewables. And the Prime Minister's 100% renewable policy just doesn't work. The technology is not there for the solar panels to work of a night time, or for the turbines to turn when the wind's not blowing. That is just the reality. I want to believe that the battery technology or that green hydro is going to be a solution. Maybe at some stage it will, but at the moment we don't have a credible pathway as a country to get to 2050. I believe very strongly that we have to firm up renewables in the system. We have a bigger and growing issue in regional communities, because nobody in the city wants a 260-metre wind turbine, but people in those rural areas rightly are expressing concern about amenity. The things only last for 20 years. So we have to have a realistic conversation about what that picture looks like. But the question is, what firms up renewables in the system? There are 20 countries in the world, top 20 economies, the G20. Australia is the only country that doesn't have nuclear power domestically or has not signed up to it. And I think the Prime Minister needs to take part in a mature conversation about why in America they're paying a third of the cost for their energy compared to what we are here in Australia. We're telling businesses at the moment to ramp down the afternoon shift because, not because they're out of business, they can't meet their orders, but because they're worried about people turning up after work, switching on the air conditioner, throwing clothes into the washing machine, starting dinner, and they're worried about blackouts. We should be trying to help those companies ramp up because there's extra economic activity, extra jobs created, and this fantasy that we can run an economy on 100% renewables that requires 28,000 kilometres of new poles and wires, it's just not realistic.
In terms of nuclear power, that's something you've been quite clear about? We've had our Premier here is a bit of a loner in Labor ranks. He's on the record as saying we need to have a mature and open-minded conversation about it. Is that something you see, Peter Dutton, where SA, with its remoteness and its geographic stability, could we play a significant role in the creation of a nuclear industry nationally? Well,
already you do in relation to supplying the market with some of the minerals required, obviously, and there full credit to the to the Premier. There are a few within Labor. Bob Hawke was one who was strongly in favour of nuclear. John Howard strongly in favour of nuclear, and I just think the reality is that as you look at places, not just in Europe, who obviously are affected by the Ukraine conflict there, but also in the Middle East, in Asia, in North America, all of those economies are adopting the technology because, as we know with the AUKUS submarine, it's the latest technology in the world. The submarine can sit at the bottom of the ocean for months at a time, running off the nuclear propulsion system that we've signed up to. We have the ability to do that in a responsible way because it's zero emissions, and this is what gives it away. If we want to reduce our emissions, Greta Thunberg now is in favour of nuclear energy. Many Greens parties are in favour of nuclear energy, and it's a modern technology. It's not the 1950s or 1960s. The car today is very different from one 60 years ago, and so it is with the nuclear technology as well. So I'm with Peter. I just think you've got to have a mature conversation about it, understand why it's right for 19 comparable countries and economies, but not for ours.
Love to hear what you think, folks. 8223 0000 about the nuclear debate. We know you're on a tight schedule, Mr. Dutton. Just before we let you go, though, do you reckon you're going to get a flag to Albo's wedding?
Well, I'm just putting it out there, but I did the Today Show with Bill Shorten this morning. I think it'd be great for Bill and I to organise the Bucks party. We both have Albo's best interests at heart. We would both take care of him. We'd both make sure he turned up to work the next day.
Yeah, be like the bloke disappearing in The Hangover, I think.
Maybe just coming back with 1, 2. Maybe just loose. We won't take it out altogether.
Maybe a face tat.
Yeah, maybe a face tat. But no, I'm not sure I am going to get a ticket, but. I'll be there on the side of the road waving the flag as the royal party goes by. It'll all be good.
Good stuff. Peter Dutton, thanks for joining us this morning in the studio.
Thanks, guys.
All right, let's check traffic. When the UV is 3 and above, cover up your sun protection. Stay SunSmart. Download the SunSmart app.
Thanks, Will. Good as gold on the roads this morning. Great run to work today. Simply some works to keep in mind. You'll find them at Cheps Cross, Port Wakefield Road near Matthews Road. Also activity at Glenside. That always gets busy there in the morning. Fullerton Road near Mulberry Road. We are getting busy now south road at Tonsley with road plates in use. Speeds at 40. And look out for cameras. Darley Road, Paradise and Grand Junction Road at Hope Valley. Now at Harvey Norman, $1 upsize deals on Australian-made mattresses. Purchase a selected queen-size mattress and for just $1 more, upsize to a king. Limited time, now at Harvey Norman. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
Couple of anti-heroes in the studio with me. Wankonomics 2.0 is the name of the show, the Fringe Show.
Wankonomics, it's a show about the wankiness of the working world. It's like a corporate workshop where we take people through all the skills that they'll need to be an absolute wanker at work.
Weekday mornings from 9.
We've quit our day jobs and we've just become overpaid consultants. This is what we do.
Excellent.
On 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth a trip, and now there's Barossa Mazda, Murray Street, Nuriapa. SA's newest Mazda dealership is now open. For 40 years, Steinborner has provided South Australians with outstanding customer service, exceptional value, and a large selection of new, used, and demo vehicles. The Steinborner story continues with the opening of their new, state-of-the-art Mazda dealership in Barossa Valley. Barossa Mazda. It's well worth the trip. barossamazda.com.au.
If you're always the one taking the photo to avoid being in the photo, and selfies are something other people do, Next Smile Australia can help. Get a new set of long-lasting teeth you'll want to show off, and get them fast in as little as 1 day, thanks to Australia's leading all-on-4 dental surgeons and clinicians. Get the smile of your life with Next Smile Australia. Book your complimentary consultation now at nextsmile.com.au.
When you want a retractable door screen, you want uninterrupted views and natural ventilation combined with protection from insects. You want Phantom Screens. Our custom-made retractable door screens can be colour matched to your existing decor and span up to 7 metres wide. And they disappear out of sight when not in use. A screen that's there 1 minute, gone the next. From the hills to the coast and everywhere in between, let the fresh air in with Phantom Screens. Get inspired online at phantomscreens.com.au.
The Adelaide Hills are most certainly alive. So many new families are now making the tree change. These people enjoy the space. They seek change. They've chosen to discover what's on the road less travelled. And if you're heading to the hills up the freeway, take the Bridgewater exit and soon you'll be discovering the home of Nissan in the hills.
And it's time for the big one. This is massive. The biggest Nissan sale event of the year with incredible 1% finance offers available on selected Navara, X-Trail, Qashqai, Leaf and Duke models. Now, it's only on for 2 more days, finishing this Saturday. Head to the website adelaidehillsnissan.com.au for more info and all the terms and conditions.
Take the road less travelled to Nissan's home in the hills. Adelaide Hills Nissan since 1954, Mount Barker Road, Bridgewater.
If the bank's declined your business loan, no worries. Universal Finance make business loans easy. No financials required. Unsecured business loans and business overdrafts. Universal Finance can help your business now. For lightning fast settlement, sometimes in just a matter of hours. See Universal Finance in Kent Town today. Or search Universal Finance right now. This is general advice only, and you should consider the terms and conditions before determining whether this advice is suitable for your situation.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. This is 5AA Breakfast.
20 after 7. How exciting is this? We can talk actual footy with Timmy G in a moment. Both sides trial game, first trial games today, the unofficial start of the footy season. You can actually start talking about what people are doing as opposed to what they mightn't do, what you hope happens or doesn't happen. Today, the rubber meets the road for the first time, so we'll talk to Timmy G about that very, very shortly. Let's do some Dutton's texts. Big 10 Ford, GW Haval, Hyundai, Isuzu, Ute, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Ram, Subaru and Volkswagen. Dutton's easy to do business with.
Just further to the opposition leader's offer, very kind offer made jointly with Bill Shorten, Albo's good mate, to host the Prime Minister's Buck Show ahead of his nuptials. Quite a few people met suggestions like this. Barnaby Joyce should organise Albo's Buck Show. That'd be a wild night, wouldn't it? Try sitting upright in a planter box after that one.
I feel like Barnaby needs to do one of the speeches.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's always a wedding speech that goes off the rails a bit. That's Barnaby's role.
Now, I'm going to tell a few yarns here. No. You shut up, Albo. Come on. Just jokes, people. Anyway, so there he was, right? That would be excellent. And a lot of super fans of different trends through the ages. I like this one. Where is it? From Mark. He says, boys, Pink Floyd is my weakness. Has been since 1969. 1969. Pink Floyd 1969. What were they doing then? Probably Ummagumma, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, some of the early stuff. Mark's seen Pink Floyd 6 times. He saw them in the UK when they did the Wall concert. Then he's seen them 5 times in Australia. He's got all their albums, 3 of them in quadraphonic, which is designed to be played through 4 speakers. And he says, I have a quad player and I sit in the middle of the room surrounded by music. Good on you, Mark.
Dean in Flinders Park's called into the program. Morning to you, Dean.
Morning, fellas. How come we've got perfect airline companies this weekend to get to Melbourne?
Well, they got a big commercial incentive to do it.
They're not too perfect, Dean. I know what you're saying, but the first one, because we sent Jade down to the airport, the first flight that we went to was delayed. So
okay, but that's one. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I know. I'm with you.
Where have they found all the flight crews, pilots, and all the rest of it for this weekend?
Yeah, financial imperative, I think, is what you're getting at. It's amazing what can be done when you make a profit out of it. That is a reasonable point, Dean. Thank you.
We got a text from Steve. He's doing it the hard way. Pembo, I'm piloting the Honda CRV airline this morning, direct into Melbourne for the Swifty concert. Flying time approximately 8 hours.
Anyone who's out on the road, what's the freeway like? What's the drive to Melbourne? Is it busier than you'd expect? A few people texted in earlier saying a lot of cars heading to Melbourne. If that's you and someone in the car can give us a call, please do. Update us on how the road trip's going. 8223 0000.
Dave Lloyd says 100,000 at the MCG tonight. The lineup for the men's room is going to be non-existent. There'll be a lot of blokes there, but
but not right. Proportionally.
Yeah, it'll be the reverse of a footy game. It would be 80% female.
I reckon. Yeah, I would have thought.
This is the biggest concert she's ever played, apparently.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah, she's never played to 100,000 people before. Which surprised me, because she played in like Rio, Mexico City, Tokyo. But apparently this is the biggest venue she's ever played.
Given Victorian logic, it's hard to imagine she's ever become this famous without playing at a 100,000-seat stadium.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's time to talk footy.
Speaking about report cards with distinctions, here's Ginnivan.
Tim Ginnivan on 5AA Breakfast.
Timmy G!
Maybe when she leaves, she can take a little
bit of soil,
cutting of MCG sacred soil with her, so it's always travelling with Taylor Swift.
Well, now the Victorians believe she's finally made it. Because she's played on the MCG.
Exactly.
Timmy G, good morning.
Yes, good morning, gentlemen, and I'm sharp as because I've been awake since 4 a.m. and it wasn't because I went to the Port Adelaide Hall of Fame, it was because my daughters were up for the red-eye flight going over there as well. So, yeah, I'm involved.
Oh, dear.
She's affected everybody in Australia somehow, hasn't she, Taylor Swift? It's hard to avoid.
You're going to be at Albin tonight, Timmy?
Well, got to do the show first, of course, and then be able to pop down there. I think they start at 5:30, so we're going to have a roving reporter down there, to try and catch that. But it's exciting, and it gets that one step closer. I know a lot of people have sort of talked about the old internal trials, a bit like Dance with Your Sister and all the rest of it. I reckon it's a bit like when one of your kids is crook and they do a damn McGrew on the ground. You got to clean it up. You know you got to do it, but you just got to get through it.
That is a great analogy. Oh, mate.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, but we spoke to Mark Keane the other night, the Irishman from Cork. Loved him. Terrific to hear that accent. I just love it. But I thought, he came into the side late out of, necessity with all the injuries. And he played some really good football. And he said he's come over, he only got here this time last year. So his preparation pre-season wasn't great. He says he feels like he's way in front and he realises how much fitness base he missed not being here during that time. He didn't go back home for Christmas because he's got head down, bum up. He really wants to make it. And we asked him sort of who did he stand in trials, and he said, you name it, I got it. And he said, I had Fogg, I had Tex, I had Thilthorpe. And we said, okay, so describe each one. And he said, look, Fogg is so strong. And he said his leading ability and pace off the mark is amazing. He said Tex is so clever. His one-on-one stuff and he loses you. And then we said, what about Thilthorpe? He said he called him Filthy. That must be his nickname. But he said, Filthy. He said he's got it all. He's got it all. So some really good signs for the forward line yet again for the Adelaide Crows, I reckon.
Yeah, I like Mark Keane too. I mean, Collingwood wanted to keep him. It was only COVID that made him go back to Ireland.
And then that's correct.
The Crows are in a position to offer him a list spot once that all wrapped up. So yeah, he's got big raps on him. I think he's a good prospect. So your Port tonight, Crows are in Port Lincoln. You've also been watching the women's Test match, Australia-South Africa, Timmy.
Wow, what a performance that was. I mean, the girls in their format, they play 3 one-day, 50 overs, they play 3 T20 and they play 1 Test match. I'd like to see more Test matches played, I've got to say, because it's really enjoyable cricket. But our own Darcy Brown, the girl from the Barossa, she's amazing. She made a Test debut at 18 years of age.
Wow.
And, 18. She's only 20 now. She doesn't turn 21 until 7th of March. She took 5 wickets, and it's not so much, that she can bowl and all the rest. She's one of the great characters, just full of life. You look at her and I always describe it as you walk into the party and you look in the room and you look at the person over there and they think, oh, there's that whinging swine. They're going to complain about everything. I'm not going over there. And then you see the bright, bubbly, they're going to put life into the party. That's your Darcy Brown. And that's what she's like on the field. That's how she plays. And it's just exciting to watch. And congratulations to a 5-wicket haul is, equivalent to the century. They reckon Glenn McGrath brought that in, and she well deserved to hold that cricket ball up.
Yeah, absolutely. He was right about that old UR. It's always a huge achievement taking a fifer. Good on you, Tim. Have a great weekend, mate. And, try to keep a lid on the old Taylor Swift fever.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look, I'll be out there shaking it off as best I can.
Good on you, Tim.
Speaking about report cards with distinctions, here's Ginnivan.
Tim Ginnivan on 5AA Breakfast.
Sunday kids eat free with every main adult meal ordered at the Excelsior. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. When National Tiles Trade Club members need an urgent delivery, we get it to them within 2 hours absolutely free. Yes, National Tiles Trade Club members get urgent deliveries within 2 hours absolutely free. So if you're a professional tiler, join the National Tiles Trade Club now for massive savings on tiles, adhesives, grouts and tools, and now free urgent deliveries. Conditions apply.
What do elbows, knees, fists, head clashes and boots have in common? Well, they can all knock your teeth out. But not if you have a Pearl mouthguard. It can even be made in the colours of your team. Plus, your Pearl mouthguard can also be fully claimed on your private health cover, which your dentist can help with. Play it safe. Ask your dentist about a Pearl mouthguard. Search Pearl Dental SA for more.
Be a change maker in healthcare. Join Adelaide Clinical Trials for Healthy Volunteers.
Your involvement could lead to breakthroughs of potential new medications,
such as a potential medication to reduce the risk of coronary artery disease for people who have additional risk factors for it.
Don't miss the chance to contribute to a healthier future.
Enrol in C08123 today by visiting cmax.com.au.
That's cmax.com.au.
Get obsessed with the Honda SUV range at Formula Honda, Modbury and Glen Osmond. Whether it's the compact HRV, the sporty mid-sized Honda ZR-V, or the spacious CR-V. And for a limited time, new Honda SUVs come with a 7-year warranty, 7-year roadside assist, and 5 standard low-price services at $199 each. Visit Formula Honda, Modbury or Glen Osmond and test drive today. Vehicles used for a commercial purpose have a 7-year or 200,000 kilometre warranty, whichever occurs first. T's and C's at honda.com.au.
Time is up. Get your tickets in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery by midnight tonight for your chance to win a life-changing $1 million. You could become an instant millionaire. Plus, your tickets stay in for more than 12,000 draws, including the Scott Salisbury Grand Prize at Henley Beach. Hurry, early bird deadline is midnight tonight. homelottery.com.au. Licence M14493.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 31 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Jess Adamson.
From chips to replacements, make Complete Windscreens your insurer repairer of choice. CompleteWindscreens.com.au.
An early morning trip to Adelaide Airport hasn't gone to plan for an overseas visitor. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says the Travellers rideshare driver allegedly ran a red light.
It happened about 4 a.m. this morning. Police were called to the intersection of Sir Donald Bradman Drive and Marion Road at Cowandilla after reports of a crash. So a big alleged Haval SUV ran a red light and was T-boned by a truck.
The 46-year-old passenger was taken to hospital as a precaution. No one else was injured, but the rideshare driver has copped an expiation notice for failing to stop at a red light. Police dog Edge has tracked down a man in Parkholme who was hiding in a wheelie bin. Patrols were called to Pildappa Avenue at 1:40 this morning after a resident noticed someone on their CCTV cameras acting suspiciously around parked cars in the area. They found an abandoned push bike, chased a suspect but lost sight of him. He was found minutes later by PD Edge and will face court today, charged with being unlawfully on premises and breach of bail. Tea Tree Plaza's expanded Park and Ride officially opens today. More from Kerry Turner.
Hundreds of new parking spaces are now available to help make public transport, especially the O-Bahn, an even more attractive option for commuters in the northeastern suburbs. Construction on the $43.5 million expansion of the Tea Tree Plaza Park and Ride is now complete. It has seen capacity increase by 500 parking spaces to 1,200 car parks. The multi-storey facility has been built adjacent the existing Park and Ride.
There are plenty of South Australians heading east today for a concert date in Melbourne with Taylor Swift. Some are going by air, others are travelling by road. The American singer kicks off her Australian tour tonight at the MCG. The Commonwealth Bank and CommSec have copped a record $10.3 million in penalties after underpaying more than 7,000 staff across the nation over 5 years. The penalties are the highest ever in a Fair Work Ombudsman legal action. The Ombudsman says the bank admitted to multiple breaches of the Fair Work Act and the total underpayment was around $16 million. It's been revealed property managers are routinely checking if prospective tenants have complained about their landlord or real estate agent on social media during the application process. A tenant reference form for a landlord or property manager asked if the tenants have been known to post comments on social media that could damage the landlord or agent's reputation. Executive Director of Better Renting, Joel Dignam, says it's unfair.
When you're applying for a rental, it's because you need a place to live, and the idea that you might miss out on that because you've maybe asked for advice in a Facebook group or because you've had a bad experience and posted about it online is really concerning.
Solar panels and electric vehicles could save the economy billions in energy costs by 2040. Research by Energy Economics and Financial Analysis shows at least $19 billion would be saved by avoiding network generation costs. Dr. Gabrielle Kuiper says small changes can make a big difference on energy bills.
It needs to be flexible and moved to the middle of the day to take advantage of all that cheap solar. And we also, and that will basically mean that prices will be much better for everyone because the evening peak will be smaller and that's mostly where prices are really high.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new roller door from Glider Roll before February 28 and receive a $100 gift voucher. T's and C's apply.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Jess. Plenty of excitement at Port Adelaide's season launch and Hall of Fame evening last night. Coach Ken Hinkley was asked about the club's new leaders, with Connor Rosie taking over as captain this off-season, while Zach Putters is his deputy. Addressing the more than 500 guests, Hinkley says it felt like a natural progression.
They were pretty obvious that the next generation was a chance for them to come through and take control of the club, and I think that was Ollie's words to me was something similar. It's their turn now, it's their club, and let them drive it the way they want to drive it, and I'll support them.
The Power will hold an internal trial tonight at Alberton, while the Crows will do the same late this afternoon in Port Lincoln. Meantime, Western Bulldogs vice-captain Tom Liberatore is on the verge of re-signing a one-year contract extension. Liberatore's talks are set to ramp up next week. To cricket, Australia is in a dominant position after day one of the one-off test against South Africa at the Wacker in Perth. The Aussies dismissed the Proteas for only 76, with Darcy Brown taking 5 wickets, and in reply the home side reached 5 for 251, with Alyssa Healy top scoring with 99. Meantime, India reached 5 for 326 after day one of the third test against England, with Rohit Sharma and Ravindra Jadeja both making centuries. And 18-year-old Iona Anderson has won silver in the women's 50-metre backstroke at the World Swimming Championships. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
When you cover things, they last longer. Same goes for you. Save your skin. Download the SunSmart app.
Morning there. No hassles getting to work today. The road's looking really good, which is excellent from Friday. Thank you very much. At Windsor Gardens, at Alta Road near Lagonda Drive has work, so a little bit slow there. We'll get busy later on at Jepps Cross, Port Wakefield Road near Matthews Road, and sluggish right now South Road at Tonsley with road plates in use there. Cameras today, Lions Road, Holden Hill and North East Road at St Agnes. Book online with My Car for $100 off your next logbook service, plus 12 months free roadside assistance. Ends February 18. T's and C's apply. My Car, Tyre and Auto, people first. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
31 and sunny today, 33 tomorrow, 35 on Sunday and up to 37 for Monday. Right now it's 14 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. This is 5AA Breakfast.
23 to 8, so many listeners making the pilgrimage to Melbourne with family members who are Taylor Swift fans or they themselves. Chad in Henley Beach is on the road. Are you on the road at the moment, Chad? Are you in transit or have you pulled over?
Yeah, no, just driving along. We're about 10 minutes out of Watertown at the moment. So
Who's in the car with you?
Me and my partner.
So are you going tonight, Chad?
Yeah, we're off tonight, so we're in A reserve, so right up the front, so getting pretty excited now.
How long did you spend online getting the tickets?
Honestly, we got pretty lucky. We did the American Express pre-sale before the normal tickets went on sale. Cost us an arm and a leg, but grateful that I didn't waste hundreds of hours trying to get tickets in the last 6 months. So,
are you a recent convert to the Taylor cause, or have you're an early adopter?
I sort of grew up around the early stuff from when she started when she was young. So sort of been following her for 10 years or so now. So, yeah, pretty excited.
Did you go to the Entertainment Centre show when she was touring 1989?
I did, yeah, 1989. Yeah, that was the only one I've seen of her. So, and that was amazing. So, yeah, looking forward to tonight.
What's traffic like out on the road, Chad? Is it extra busy?
Pretty quiet, to be honest. We left about 4 a.m., so it's pretty quiet coming through the city and onto the freeway around that time. But no, it's pretty quiet.
Oh, that's
so
good.
Unless people are leaving a bit later, but yeah, I think we've made a good choice to leave when we did.
Well played. Well, safe drive and have a great night tonight, Chad. You'll love it, mate.
Thanks, boys.
Good on you, Chad.
Thanks for calling. We're going to be a lot of families, a lot of people with their partners doing that drive sometime today, or did it yesterday to arrive today.
We should ring Chad Monday, get him to give us a review.
Yeah, see what the drive
Get
back
him
was
back
like.
on, yeah.
The drive back will be better than the drive back was in 2017.
Oh, that was bad. That was a quiet trip, wasn't it?
Drive over was much more fun.
Yeah.
All right.
So much promise. Because, we were just going there to watch the Crows win the flag.
That's what I thought.
That's
I was
what
signing
they
up for.
thought too.
Yeah. We just had Peter Dutton live in the studio on a day where he's opposite the Prime Minister, is touring the Liddell Power Station. A lot of talk around energy security and the path to net zero by 2050 today. It's just one of a number of storylines that Zach De Silva's covering for Nine Radio's, as Nine Radio's federal politics reporter. Zach, good morning to you.
Morning, guys. Good to be with you.
Zach, we found out this week that despite the hand-on-heart vows last year when these detainees were all let out, that the government was going to be doing everything to make sure they were all monitored, that there's still no plan B. There's been no actual legal plan done yet or implemented to monitor them properly.
Yeah, I mean, it shows how quickly political fortunes can change, doesn't it? Last time we were speaking, I'm pretty sure it was about the tax cuts and the government's absolute glee at forcing the opposition to support them. And now the shoe's on the other foot. This is these immigration detainees who had to be released last year after the High Court decision, a big deal at the time. And now Senate estimates is on at the moment, which is pretty much, where government officials have to go before a Senate committee and just get absolutely grilled on anything and everything. And out of that, we found out at the end of last year, the government rushed these laws through to re-detain some of these asylum seekers because these are people who can't be sent back to their home country for whatever reason, but the government doesn't want to give them refugee status because often they've committed crimes. There are among them are sex offenders, murderers, people who have attempted murder, bad things. And these laws were rushed through at the end of last year to try and re-detain some of them, to reduce the risk to the community. And we've found out in the last couple of days, no one's been re-detained. The government hasn't even attempted to re-detain any of them yet. It hasn't made any applications. A number of them have reoffended, have committed other crimes, and have had to be arrested by state and territory police. So the opposition is smelling blood here. The entire week of Parliament, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Parliament doesn't sit today, but the last 4 days, they've been absolutely going the immigration minister because they've kind of singled him out. They think he's a weak performer and they think they can get him to resign over this. So it's been question after question. Why haven't you applied for these people to be re-detained? Do you know where they are? What crimes have they committed? All this kind of thing. And the momentum has really shifted in politics in the last couple of days.
One of the other big stories this week, Zach, has been Barnaby Joyce, the release of the video where he in inverted commas, fell off the planter box. He's been suggested by some colleagues that maybe he takes some personal leave and just sort himself out a little bit. Have you got any sense he's inclined to do that?
No, I heard it reported yesterday that he's not going to. I haven't been able to confirm that, but he was in Parliament yesterday, so it doesn't look like he's going to. It's a bit of a bad look, isn't it? And clearly there are other personal issues going on here that haven't been disclosed as well. But we heard from David Littleproud earlier in the week, and Barnaby actually himself did a spot on Channel 7 earlier in the week saying, I'm on prescription medication. The doctors told me not to drink alcohol with the prescription medication. I did it anyway. They say bad things happen when you do it. And you know what? They were right. So that's his explanation. There's clearly other kind of personal stuff going on as well that we don't know about, and kind of people have been careful not to judge because of that. But when you talk about trust in politics and you talk about, these are the people who are elected to represent our communities, I don't know about you guys, it kind of doesn't paint the building and the politics of Australia in general in glory, does it?
Yeah, I don't know. I sort of think his defence should have been, look, I got really drunk and I fell off a planter box and I'm not the only Australian who's ever done that. I made a goose of myself, but life goes on. I think we're in danger of becoming too moralistic about it. And I reckon the thing that damaged politics more the last few weeks was some of the behaviour and comments that were made on that ABC show, Nemesis, where it just painted politicians as being utterly self-absorbed and self-interested and deceitful. But yeah, he's a character, and you say that by way of understatement. Hey, interested, Zach, in your thoughts on the happy news that Albo has popped the question and received the answer in the affirmative from his girlfriend. Do you reckon, will they be able to have a normal honeymoon, or in the midst of a cost of living crisis and all of that? Does he have to be careful, doesn't want to leave the country for too long, or maybe even not leave the country at all, maybe opt for a much more modest domestic honeymoon instead?
Can I just go back to how you phrased that question? Answered in the affirmative. Is that what happens when you propose, is it?
I think so. I don't know. I wouldn't know. I got proposed to.
No, I think it's interesting, and I think obviously it was nice, happy news for once, which doesn't happen too often.
Yeah.
I think there are obviously a whole lot of political questions that come up as much as the PM and his partner, Jodie Hayden, probably don't want them to come up, about do you have a big wedding? Do you hold it at, Kirribilli House, the Prime Minister's official residence in Sydney, which, if you know Sydney at all, Kirribilli House is right on the harbour. It, looks out over the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House. It is probably the best bit of land in Sydney, full stop. Do you hold it there or do you have it somewhere private? Because if you hold it there, you'll be accused of using taxpayer money for your private wedding.
Yeah.
And then obviously you're right, how does he do the honeymoon? When does he time it? Does he do it before the election, after the election? It's kind of, obviously, it's great that they're getting married and I'm sure they're very excited about it. But there's all these and that just kind of goes with being Prime Minister. There's all these kind of different political considerations that go with that, right? And I think it'll be interesting to see how they handle it. Already the speculation in Canberra as soon as it started was, is it going to be a big wedding? Is he going to, or is it going to be, a small private reception? I think it'll be interesting to watch that one for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Good on you, Zach. Zach De Silva there, 9 Radio Federal Politics reporter.
The meat tray this morning, thanks to my local butcher, Chanella's. The great team there, Liam and Joanna, and all that helped them. My local butcher, Chanella's, 62 Prospect Road at Prosper. We're asking you, what have you been, or are you a super fan of? What or who? It might not be a single person, might be a band or a sporting team, or oatmeal, as it turned out, oats, as it turned out, with Kaz in Brompton a little bit earlier in the program. We're getting some Dutton's texts through as well on that, and indeed our chat with Peter Dutton and some other issues as well.
I like this one from Ange. Morning, guys. For me, it was Mark Holden. I was 15, and my dad drove me to his concert at Festival Theatre. Loved him. What was that? What was his hit? Was it a white sports coat and a red carnation?
Yeah,
was that
the
song?
carnation.
Yeah, and he was wearing that white suit. Looked like $1 million.
Keep them coming in, your superfan confessions this morning.
Rob's got an obscure one. He's obsessed with a Canadian band called the Dead South, who play Appalachian Blues, and they're finally in Adelaide this March 21st. So Rob's
good on
going to have his day in the sun. Sue and Christie's Beach, in a craven attempt to win the meat tray, says, I'm a huge fan of the 5AA breakfast show.
Okay. Okay.
Good on you, Sue. No, she's actually a super fan of the Wentworth TV series.
Oh, yeah.
And says she's watched it so many times she could play one of the roles. Hopefully not the freak, though. Good on you, Sue.
Good on you, Sue. Lucy's just wandered into the studio. Morning to you, Luce.
Hello.
Bonjour.
Thank you very much. I just had a random... That's Spanish. In French, it's de rien.
I hope Lucy didn't wander into. I hope Lucy didn't come in to tell us about some global tragedy that's unfolding.
Oh yeah,
absolutely not. With all the music news that is going around, I wondered if anyone realised Matchbox 20 played in Adelaide last night.
So I heard
at the entertainment centre.
Well, someone told me that was going along, and I had no idea. My mother was a huge Matchbox 20 fan.
Yeah.
She loved him.
Anyway, one of the members, the guitarist of Matchbox 20, Kyle, and his partner Tina, went to Bat Rescue South Australia yesterday.
Bat Rescue?
Bat Rescue?
Yeah.
What is Bat Rescue South Australia?
Turns out, well, they help out injured bats. It's like koala rescue, but for bats.
They're up against it at the moment because there's not a...
Oh, well, they get zapped.
There's not a lot of bat sympathy out there at the moment.
I know. Well, Kyle, the Matchbox 20 guitarist, and his wife love bats, and they wanted to learn more about the bats we have here, so they went along to the Bat Rescue SA Inc.
They've
HQ,
come to the right place.
And then they played at the entertainment centre last night. I mean, did anyone know Matchbox 20 was coming? Did anyone go to it?
Yeah.
I'm sure they did.
I think they would have had a decent crowd there.
When the Stones were here, Ronnie Wood went to Cleveland National Park, and there's a great photo of him holding a koala.
I saw Ronnie Wood 1 metre away from me on that trip.
Keith Richards was trying to smoke some gum leaves as well.
What do you mean he was 1 metre away from you?
Ronnie Wood?
I was having dinner on Rundle Street when the Stones were here, and Ronnie Wood, it was when the late Jocks on Villo's Arana was there, and he had a bar directly under us, sitting outside, and a black car pulled up, stopped right in the middle of Rundle Street, and I thought, well, that's a bit rude. Who are these people?
Who do they think they are, the Rolling Stones?
Yeah. Out jumped Ronnie Wood and walked directly in front of my table, and I was like, oh, well, that's fair enough. You can hold up Rundle Street for half a minute. That's fine.
And where did he go?
He went straight upstairs to Arana.
Oh, he went up to Arana.
Yeah, I wasn't in Arana. I was at the downstairs bar table, and he went straight up to Arana.
Wow.
Anyone else ever seen a Rolling Stone in real life? If you have, give us a call.
Absolutely.
They
That's
famously
a good one,
went,
Liz.
speaking of excellent people who sadly are no longer here, they made that famous visit to see Tarasa Choda's winery up in Summertown when they were here. Brilliant.
Choda Barrels.
Choda Barrels, yeah. It was. I think that was Mick and Charlie Watts went together.
Mm.
And they just sat around playing the piano and singing because we had Taras's wife on the next day.
Yeah.
It was terrific.
10 to 8, we're going to check traffic. When the UV is 3 and above, cover up. Use sun protection. Stay SunSmart. Download the SunSmart app.
Morning there. The roads are working super well this morning. No great hassles on a Friday. Simply some works to keep in mind. You'll find them at Windsor Gardens at Olds Road in Lagonda Drive. Also at Wingfield, Cormac Road near Magazine Road. Getting busy at the moment, South Road at Tonsley. That's due to road plates in use there. Speeds at 40. With cameras this morning, Darley Road, Paradise and Kelly Road at Modbury. You could be an instant millionaire. Get your Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery early bird tickets before midnight tonight for your chance to win. homelottery.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
NRG Solar have moved to a new location. It's bigger and better, and their new warehouse is fully stocked with wholesale solar and battery equipment. So, if you're looking to save money on electricity and help our environment, don't wait. Visit NRG Solar at their new office on South Road St Mary's, where every 3 customers refer someone they know, which means they must be doing something right. Call into NRG Solar at their new premises, 1275 South Road, or visit nrgsolar.com.au.
Before you do a thesis in dishwasher, depart on an oven odyssey, or make a pilgrimage up Mount Washing Machine. Just trying to work out what appliances to get? Drop into Adelaide Appliance Gallery. We're here to make your life easier. We've got the best advice, best appliances, and the best offers on Smeg. Choose from Smeg's linear range of ovens and save up to $1,200 during the clearance sale. Make your life easier with Adelaide Appliance Gallery, Paynham Road, St Peters.
Some builders think a sloping block has limitations. When Beechwood Homes look at a sloping block, they think, the possibilities. Beechwood Homes know how to make the most of a sloping block. In fact, they specialise in them. Beechwood will design a home that works with the land you have, taking full advantage of every square metre. So if you're looking at a sloping block, go for it. Beechwood has your back. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
It's Edward from Edwardstown Mazda, South Australia's #1 destination for Mazda. Edwardstown Mazda has a very serious offer. So this is my most serious voice. This month's get savings equal to the on-road costs, plus free servicing on all 2023 plates. T's and C's apply. I'm Edward from Edwardstown Mazda, and I'm being very serious right now.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
7 to 8. I don't think you can't see the shenanigans during the ad break on the Foodland Supermarket Facebook and YouTube live stream, but David was just like prime Steve Waugh adjusting the sight screen there.
It is like a sight
Our
screen.
curtain doesn't work in here anymore, so we've got a giant sight
You with
screen.
a beer, will you sit down?
Yeah, it's distracting. Trying to do a radio program.
That's right. I just walked away as the bowl was coming in.
Seeing 6 to 8. I've been looking forward to this chat. We've been speaking a bit to our listeners who are on the road to go see Taylor Swift, and some that missed out on tickets, some that were flying. Jay Brodman was at the airport earlier chatting with a lot of excited people. Kate Patterson is doing a PhD at RMIT. Is an expert in fandom, generally. This phenomenon whereby people, I'm not even sure the right language to use is, get infatuated with, obsessed by, certainly excited by people and follow them around and become more than just casually interested, but become true fans. She's studying a whole heap of people, but is doing a PhD on the Taylor Swift phenomenon, which is probably the biggest and best example of mass fandom that we've seen in a long, long time. Kate, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Not at all, Kate. We were saying at the start of the show that we've seen this through history. Probably the biggest example, well, actually, it probably goes back to the 1920s with jazz. There would have been jazz musicians who had cult followings, but then obviously Elvis, the Beatles and the Stones, Bay City Rollers. It's a bit of a sort of recurring trend, but has it ever been as big worldwide as it is with Taylor?
I mean, I think the interesting thing when trying to compare with sort of those artists of other decades is just the difference that like social media and the internet can make. I think that has played such a big role in creating the level of hype that we've seen, particularly around the tour. I know a lot of people have seen snippets of the Eras tour on TikTok or other platforms, and that's really given them this sense of FOMO for coming along. But I think with that too, it's, you know, fan communities have existed for a very long time, you know, before the internet. But what the internet has provided is this ability for all these people to kind of come together as a collective and find one another. Which I think, you know, particularly with the Swifties, we've seen the different ways that they engage online and how they come together as a big group and kind of taking part in all of those traditions as well. So, I mean, it's hard to compare. I think one of the things right now that's so impressive with Taylor is that, you know, we're in an era where there's so much choice about what you can listen to, you know, obviously with streaming and other platforms like that, and yet everybody is just absolutely besotted by Taylor right now. And so I think in that case, we haven't really seen anyone like that for a little while that's managed to captivate such a big, you know, population of Australia, I think, in the one go. So it'll be interesting to see in the next few years if there's anything that kind of comes close.
That's the thing I find truly amazing. I mean, people's interests are so fragmented now. I understand a music phenomenon appearing at a time when there's one radio station playing top 40 and you've got, you know, one CD shop in town or a record shop and everyone buys the vinyl when it comes out. But at the moment, everyone can watch whatever TV show they want when they want. They can listen to whatever song they want when they want from anywhere in the world at any given time. It would seem it's never been harder for a single person to capture so much attention. Why do you think she's been able to do that?
I think part of it from a music perspective is that she does cover a lot of genres. You know, if you're a fan of pop, there's pop music. If you're a fan of country, there's the older country stuff. If you're into more kind of like folk acoustic music, you know, she did Folklore and Evermore recently. So I think she's been able to engage with a lot of people musically over particularly the last sort of 5-6 years. But I think also for Taylor, you know, obviously she's been in the industry for a long time. And I think right from the beginning, when she was, you know, still famous, obviously, but not at the level she is now, she really put in the time and effort to build a relationship with her fans and really take the time to connect with them online and offline. And I think it means that now they're so loyal. They want to support everything she's doing and they really get behind what she's doing. And so particularly with the re-recordings, you know, we really saw this mass, you know, the reason they were so successful is because the fans got behind it. They basically were like, no, we're not listening to anything of the stolen stuff anymore. We're getting behind her. And I think not every artist could do that because you really have to have put in the time and the effort to get people behind you. And I think for that reason, she's had one of the best kind of fan engagement strategies over the last few years, and it's really paying off for her now.
Doing this as a PhD at RMIT in Melbourne there, Kate, are you looking at it in a sort of broader psychological sense as well? Because is part of it, and thinking here about things like the phenomenon of everybody making bangles that they wear to the concert, and then when you're at the concert, you swap the bangles with the complete stranger who's standing next to you. Is there a sort of more fundamental human yearning that goes to belonging that is part of the Swift phenomenon, where people just want to be part of something that's nice?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what we've seen. You know, I think a lot of focus generally is on the kind of like parasocial relationships between fans and Taylor, but I think the part that people sort of miss out on sometimes is that when you have a big group of people who are all passionate about something, in this case Taylor, it does facilitate a real sense of community, and people can find like-minded people that maybe they're not finding in other aspects of their life, whether that be school or work or otherwise. And with that, as you said, there's the friendship bracelet making, there's all of these kind of traditions leading up to the tour and opportunities for fans to connect with one another. And I think music fandom in particular helps people to find a real sense of self, particularly as they're kind of growing up in that sort of teenage phase. Obviously, Taylor's fandom is a lot more diverse than just that, but I think, music can provide that both from a listening perspective, but then also in that sense of community that people find. And, you can go to a Taylor Swift concert by yourself and still feel like you're part of something, still have conversations with other fans. And I think for a lot of people, they've really found a really nice welcoming space within the Taylor fandom, and that's something that we're seeing a lot of, obviously, as the concerts hit Australia this week.
Fascinating area of study on this social phenomenon. Kate Patterson from RMIT. Good luck with the PhD, Kate. And thanks for chatting with us on 5AA Breakfast this morning.
It all started in the back shed. Maybe it started early. Or late. Either way, the Olympic Industries sale means there's no need to wait. With big savings on our entire range of SA-engineered sheds, garages, carports and verandas, you can afford to start something big, tough, or tasty in your own backyard. Start something with the Olympic Industries sale. On now.
It's Ian Healy, and I'm here to talk to you about back pain and Kiza. If you're one of the 80% of Australians who suffer from back pain, it's tempting to do nothing, but this can cause weaknesses down the road. The best place to start with back pain is exercise, and the best place to exercise is Kiza. Kiza's physios and Swiss-designed strength training equipment help you build strength in a supervised environment. I go to Kiza, and you can too, at our new clinic in Norwood. Book your initial assessment at kiza.com.au.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 31 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Jess Adamson.
Chipped windscreen? Complete Windscreens can repair it from just $99. Look for the big red koala.
A rideshare trip to the airport this morning didn't quite go to plan. The SUV carrying an overseas visitor was hit by a truck at Cowandilla and then slammed into a light pole. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says the 46-year-old traveller was taken to hospital as a precaution.
Thankfully, the driver of the truck, a 56-year-old man, wasn't injured. The 47-year-old rideshare driver was also not injured, but he's been issued with a $639 fine for failing to stop at a red light.
The average worker will be gaining more in their pay pocket from July, but the federal opposition believes it will do little to assist with household budgets. Changes to Stage 3 tax cuts will see middle-income earners paying less tax at the expense of those being paid more. Opposition leader Peter Dutton says the amount pocketed will hardly be enough to combat cost of living pressures.
It's about $15 a week, and people, they're searching for $150 a week in their budgets. Their mortgages have gone up, and the government's had two budgets where they've actually made it harder. Inflation's higher than it should be, and people's mortgages therefore are more expensive. So $15 a week, it's just being eaten up.
A close colleague of a woman shot dead during Super Bowl celebrations in the US says the tragedy doesn't reflect the Kansas City community. No charges have been laid. Police have 2 juveniles in custody and say a dispute led to the gunfire. Local community radio host Lisa Lopez was killed. 30 others were injured, including 8 children. Kelly Doherty says Lisa had a vibrant personality and was a pillar of her community.
All our DJs, all our programmers are volunteer, and she spent her time and her talents for a 2-hour show every week to bring the best of this music to the people in the community here at Kansas City.
A single-dose injection could be the key to reversing symptoms of motor neuron disease and dementia. Gabrielle Hodson explains.
A team of neuroscientists at Macquarie University has developed a medicine that in mice can stop the progress of a particular type of frontal and temporal lobe dementia, as well as MND. It's reversed symptoms, with some mice regaining their strength after researchers in Sydney found a way to clear blockages linked to both diseases. SMH The Age is reporting that the medicine more or less acts as a vacuum cleaner, breaking up unwanted clumps of protein around another essential protein, allowing it to work normally. The researchers sparked a start-up, which is now seeking funds and approval to carry out human trials within 2 years.
There's a pilgrimage to Melbourne happening on our roads this morning. Taylor Swift fans are headed east to see the American singer in concert. Chad and his partner are around Bordertown. He's told David and Will they're counting down the hours.
We're off tonight, so we're in A reserve, so right up the front. Getting pretty excited now. So we got pretty lucky. We did the American Express pre-sale before the normal tickets went on sale. Cost us an arm and a leg, but grateful that I didn't wait hundreds of hours trying to get tickets in the last 6 months.
It's also a hive of activity at the airport with extra flights between here and Melbourne to meet demand. Now turning to 5AA Sport. Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Jess. It's a big day ahead for both SA footy clubs as they hold internal trials later on. The Crows will hold theirs in Port Lincoln after arriving there yesterday, and Port Adelaide will do the same at Alberton this afternoon. Speaking at the season launch last night, club captain Connor Rosie says he's excited by the recruiting that's been done in the off-season.
We were probably lacking in a few areas in our squad, and our team has done a really good job in recruiting some players from other teams and through the draft as well. I think we've plugged those spots perfectly.
And Peter Burgoyne, Brendan Lade, David Brown and Marks Kretschmer were all inducted into the club's Hall of Fame last night. Well, Australia's women are in a great position after day one of the Test match against South Africa after dismissing the Proteas for only 76 before reaching 5 for 251 at stumps in reply. The Socceroos have moved up 2 places to 23rd on the FIFA World Rankings following the Asian Cup. Meantime, a blow for the Matildas ahead of their final Olympic qualifiers against Uzbekistan. World Cup hero Courtney Vine has withdrawn from the squad for personal reasons. Wanderers striker Sophie Harding has been called into the camp. The Illawarra Hawks have clinched an NBL final spot with a 108-92 point victory over the Perth Wildcats. Meantime, the NBA has unveiled the world's first ever LED glass basketball court. Player stats, ads and music clips will be played on court during the game. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
When you cover things, they last longer. Same goes for you. Save your skin. Download the SunSmart app.
Good morning. A really great run into work today. Accident breakdown free on the majors. Simply some works to look out for today. You'll find them at Glenside, Fullerton Road near Mulberry Road. Getting a little busy at Wingfield, Cormac Road near Magazine Road. And slow going at the moment southward at Tonsley. Road plates in use there just after the Southern Expressway exit. You'll find cameras, Belvedere Road, Manham and Harris Road at Vale Park. Freedom's flash sale has been extended. Get 25% off all full-priced items including sofas, furniture, mattresses and more. Last chance ends Sunday. Only at Freedom. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast. 31 and sunny today, 33 tomorrow, 35 on Sunday and up to 37 on Monday. Right now it's 16 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Are you ready for something huge? It's an offer that is unrivaled, unsurpassable, unforgettable. Mawson Lakes Mazda is giving you 3 days, just 3 days to walk in and drive out in your dream Mazda. All makes, all models, all colours, all ready to drive away. This Thursday, Friday and Saturday only. Do not miss this. Mawson Lakes Mazda's unprecedented 3-day sale. On now and Saturday. Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. On time, on budget, on the job.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
David Penberthy and Will Gooding.
If you're joining us for the first time, the sun is up. There's just a beautiful day on the way. Beautiful week's worth of weather coming up. Starting, well, really, it's been the last couple of days, but if you like 30 plus, today's for you, then the weekend.
It's the summer we thought we were going to miss out on.
The eye in the sky. I mean, this is the morning we created the eye in the sky for, isn't it?
31 today, 33 tomorrow, 35 Sunday, 37 Monday, 36 Tuesday, 34 Wednesday, 32 Tuesday. What about that? It's like doing one of those eye charts, reading that.
Yeah, you did.
Right.
You looked at the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream to do the weather.
I did.
That's a first.
I did. Very high tech, isn't it?
Magnificent work.
Yeah, we got the old iPhone on a stick out there on the balcony.
Yeah, broadcasting
Working
live. We're all about innovation.
Working like a German band.
Innovation on a budget. That's
right.
That's
exactly.
That's our credo.
The art of the possible.
Hey, we got Fleetwood Mac.
Macwood Fleet.
Macwood Fleet. No, tickets to see that excellent show at Gluttony. That's a Fleetwood Mac tribute.
Mac Fleetwood.
Mac Fleetwood.
Yeah.
Fleet
Macwood.
Fleet Macwood, Lucy's saying. Fleet Macwood. Look, it's a play on Fleetwood Mac, and if you love the music, you're going to love the show. What we need is 2 massive Fleetwood Mac fans, because we're going to put you to the test. Now, the way this is going to work is the first person to get through, it's going to be easier for you than the second, but maybe you can help out the second. We've got 2 double passes to give away. You need to complete the lyrics of a Fleetwood Mac song, but there'll be
Is one of them thunder only happens when it's blank?
There'll be your line, and then after that, the second call will have to complete a second line after that.
From the same song?
From the same song. So, 2 Fleetwood Mac fans, I'd get calling fast on 822 because the first caller through, it'll be much easier for you. You'll have the full musical lead in. The second caller, it's going to be a little bit more tricky, but we'll get to that very, very shortly.
Well, it was the news that had beer lovers crying into their pints. The shock announcement that the beloved Big Shed Brewery down there on Port Road had gone into voluntary administration. Now, the story broke a couple of days ago, and in some quarters it's been billed as a sort of heartbreaking last drink scenario. Well, the opposite is true. The owners of the Big Shed reckon that they have got a plan to get themselves out of strife, and hopefully, as a big enthusiast of the old FIVEAA American Pale Ale, maybe there's a role for all of us to play and let our lips do the talking in terms of rallying behind the mighty Big Shed Brewery. Craig Basford is one of the co-founders of the Big Shed, and he joins us now for this special Breaking at 8. Craig, as I was saying, mate, when the story broke, a lot of people like me who've gone to your excellent brewery over the years and its old spot there in the industrial estate, now on Port Road, we felt kind of heartbroken. But we should keep our chins up, yes?
Absolutely. Oh, look, we were heartbroken to have to make the call on it, but we did it with the plan, knowing that we did it early enough that we could right the ship with the help of our suppliers and our administrator to be able to push forward and really strive on into the future, into the long term. So what we need from all our ever-loving public is just to come down, buy some beers. We're still open every day, like we always are. Doing the same thing we've always done, having a great time and enjoying ourselves. And we just ask you, we've got some good beer weather by the sounds of it, just listening in before. So it sounds like prime time to get around it and have a couple of quiet ones, or maybe even 3.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys were one of the real pioneers in this craft brewery space, and obviously it's exploded. It's become, quite a competitive market. That sort of loyalty and goodwill. Is it your hope that there's enough sort of, residual and continuing affection for your brands that'll sort of get you over the line?
Yeah, I think. Look, I mean, what we've experienced over the last week is a whole range of emotions. Obviously, we've made the call. You get the sort of the sensationalist media about it all. You feel a bit down, but then what happens is, well, what happened in our case anyway, and I think it's the South Australian traders that people went, no, we're not going to let this happen. We're going to do what we can, and that's been so uplifting. There's nothing. If there's anything worse than going through a really tough time, it's going through a really tough time by yourself. And what we learned is that we are going through a tough time, but we're going through it with a whole bunch of people who care about us and care about our products. So we know that with that groundswell, and like I said, us working through what we can get done, we're certainly going to be here in the long term. So don't fear about that. We're working hard to get it done. You go through these rough spots sometimes just to understand what is valuable to you. So we're going to get through that, and we're going to be here for the long term.
Have you given any thought to having any special events over the coming weeks or anything like that?
Yeah.
Because if you do anything, we'll be more than happy here at 5AA to help you out.
That's amazing, guys. Well, on the 26th of February, it's a Monday. We're going to run Monday, so from Monday normal into the evening. We're going to open late on this Monday night. The Adelaide girls, the Hello SA girls, Lauren, and that have just gone my lord, they've gone mental. And they're pulling out all the stops to put on a really big Save Our Shed event down there. Now, details are still being worked through. In fact, I've got a meeting in 45 minutes' time to hear what kind of craziness they've sort of lined up. But we've got that on. The amazing guys at Ride City Wrestling. We had a pro wrestling event at our brewery last year, and it was amazing. They're organising an event to come down and have a big show there again. So we're doing that. But to be honest with you, it's just a matter of coming down to the shed, having a beer, bite to eat. I know times are tough, but if you can swing it, it'd be great. And then we've got all of our suppliers, bottle shops and bars and things like that. Guys like Vestina's Pals. These guys have done so much to support us before and have just come to the fore even more so now. The pubs, Lighthouse Hotel, Marion Hotel, like these guys have just been amazing. And even this is the beauty of craft beer, right? Normal circumstance, if you had a competitor, like if Coke were in trouble, not that it's ever going to happen. Pepsi aren't going to go, we'll put a couple of Coke Zeros in our vending machine to help you out. That doesn't happen, right? But we've got Barossa Valley Brewing out at Newry there, putting on a couple of taps for us and some of our can product.
Yeah, right.
Tonight, like 5 o'clock, I think it is. Lady Borough are putting some beers on for us, and the Adelaide girls are going down for it down there. Like
that's awesome.
This is the stuff. Yeah, this is the stuff that makes you go, you know what, man? Like you might be going through a rough trial, but we got you. Yeah. And it's humbling, and we're just so grateful for that. So we just got to keep that momentum going, and we'll get through this.
Well, Craig, we wish you all the very best. And I know there's a lot of goodwill out there. Craig Basford there, one of the co-founders of the excellent Big Shed Brewing Company. It's important, we as Australians and as South Australians, you hear people bemoaning, Arnott's is foreign owned these days, and who really owns Vegemite, and we're losing all these local brands. Well, we complain about it, yet at the same time, we've happily turned into a country where more than 70% of the beer that we consume is foreign owned.
Yeah. That's why I never get when sometimes you get a backlash to craft beers. Oh, I don't know what all these fads. Well, that's just what Australian beer is these days. Like, substitute craft for, that's Australian beer.
Yeah, yeah.
Made by locals.
And the other thing is, I don't love 12% mega hoppy IPA type stuff.
But you don't have to.
They make awesome, like the
lagers.
The FIVEAA that I talked about, that's just a straight up and down pale ale that hasn't got bits of bark chip floating in it. It's a really good beer. They make great lager. Like, they make a lot of normal beers that are fine if you're not into the stouts and the things mixed with fruit chocks and all the rest of it. But when Craig was talking there, talking about FIVEAA, talking about the Marion Hotel, talking about all these different... These are locally owned, family-owned South Australian companies that employ a lot of South Australians, as opposed to the Asahis of the world. So that's why it's actually like a political story in a way. We can't on the one hand complain about foreign ownership and let local brands
and then not
die.
do anything about it. And as he said, go in and have a bite to eat. What he said, Craig, understanding, said cost of living crisis, so on and so forth. It's not the Botanic.
No, that's right.
To go to Big Shed.
Yeah, you don't need the 11-course degustation when
it's
you
pretty
go there.
It's good food, and it's not going to break the bank.
Yeah, and it's a great venue. It's fun.
Yeah, both their venues are great.
Good pinball machines.
Absolutely. All right, let's give away some tickets to Fleet Mac Wood. We'll get it right this time. Fleet Mac Wood. We've got 2 doubles to give away. It's playing at the Fantail in Gluttony in Rymble Park, which is home of the biggest shows this fringe. Tickets from gluttony.net.au. Now, a little twist in our test to determine if you're a real fan or not this morning. We've got Karen in Seaford, who's the first caller through. Karen, good morning.
Good morning.
Big Fleetwood Mac fan, obviously, Karen.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I'll give it a crack.
All right. Well, maybe not so big, but you're going to roll the dice, which is good. That's the spirit of this program.
It's the Aussie spirit.
Andrew and Cowandilla, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
You're in the number 2 seed, Andrew, so your job's a little bit more difficult. You both need to finish a lyric. Karen's will come following a piece of music. Andrew, you need to follow on from Karen. Okay? So, it's a well-known Fleetwood Mac song. It's not a word, it's the next line of the song. Lucy's just informed me, next line of the song, but I think you'll be familiar with it. That's having a lash, Karen. Having a lash.
Karen.
All right, I'll tell you what, that means Andrew's now in the number 1 position. Sorry, Andrew. 82230055. We didn't. So 0 for 2 then.
I should really keep my stupid mouth shut because when I was guessing what the lyric would be, I had no idea that it was actually this lyric.
Yeah, that's right.
So we need the line after thunder only happens when it's raining.
And then the line after that for the second position. 82230055. 2 more. Again, if you're quickest, you get the number 1 position, which is much easier, and the number 2 position. So come on, Fleetwood Mac fans. Get calling now.
I'll give you a clue.
82230055.
It's not jockeys only ride you when they're training. That is not the lyric.
Okay.
But
it's a very different song.
Yeah.
It's a very different song. Darren, good morning.
Morning, fellas. How you going?
Darren,
Thanks, Darren.
We need you to complete this lyric.
That's a morning verse. Come on.
You know what? It's close enough.
Yes,
because,
it's close enough.
Because
I thought it was right, wasn't it?
And
it was beautiful.
when they're playing. When they're playing.
We're paying that.
Because otherwise, you're one of the player. Fran's in the number 2 position. Morning, Fran.
Good morning.
Did you just hear Darren?
No, sorry, I didn't hear that part, but did he do the line starting with players?
He did do that, and he got it right.
He did.
He got it right enough.
So what's the line after that, Fran?
They will go.
Yes, Fran. Oh, that was a pretty underwhelming din. There we go.
On you, Fran.
You got a fan in the end. I think Fran sang it like someone who really knows.
Yeah,
and it wasn't the first time Fran has sung that song in front of an audience. It sounded like. So Darren and Fran, you're off to see that excellent show.
Do they go together?
Wood. Well, I don't know if the tickets are together. 2 double passes. So
right. So that's
no. That's
it's not like some dating service we're running here.
No, well, maybe we could do that next.
Yeah,
Fringe. That'd be good.
Right,
We're connecting some listeners. A singles only comp.
Yeah, exactly. What about that?
I think you've hit on something there.
There we go.
All right, let's check traffic. We're going to flash back in time with Michael Smith in just a moment. When the UV's 3 and above, cover up, use sun protection, stay sun smart. Download the SunSmart app.
G'day there, starting to build in the usual spots this morning. South Road at Theberton, also a bit sluggish, Brighton Road at Penelg South. Quite busy at the moment, the Port Rick Expressway at Port Adelaide. And got a crash at Croydon Park, South Road near Regency Road. You find cameras this morning, Belvedere Road, Manham, and Darley Road at Paradise. Harrow Scarf's 4-day Friends Flash Frenzy sale ends today with 40% off full price luggage by Pierre Cardin and more. Exclusions apply. Harrow Scarf, great brands, great prices. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
For 3 years, the club's tried to build a home base, and still we haven't seen one bulldozer, one survey peg. I've said all along the North Adelaide Aquatic Centre was the perfect solution, and everyone said that. It was a win-win. Perfect location, couldn't get the deal done because we had to deal with the Adelaide City Council.
Rowie and Timmy G.
We sit here today with the Crows still in the consultation stage. I'm concerned, Timmy.
4 p.m. weekdays on 5AA.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, the Lynn Andrews team have made it easy for landlords to manage residential and commercial property. From single homes to multiple commercial holdings, our passion for property investment means we have a great deal of knowledge. How to do it safely and properly. Matching the right tenant with the right property every time. We're here to help you. Visit lynandrews.com.au.
Before you do a thesis in dishwasher, depart on an oven odyssey, or make a pilgrimage up Mount Washing Machine. Just trying to work out what appliances to get? Drop into Adelaide Appliance Gallery. We're here to make your life easier. We've got the best advice, best appliances, and the best offers on SMEG. Save up to 15% with special discounts on fridges, cookers, dishwashers, and more. That's 15% off. Make your life easier with Adelaide Appliance Gallery, Paynham Road, St Peters.
You've decided to build? It's exciting stuff. When you've found land, it's a good idea to get advice on what you can build on your new parcel of paradise. Get Steve from Beechwood Homes to take a look. There's no obligation, and you'll get a great understanding of what's possible. Sloping block, flat block, weird shaped block, or block on a cliff. Speak with Steve from Beechwood Homes for all the possibilities. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth the trip, and now there's Barossa Mazda, Murray Street, Nuriupa. SA's newest Mazda dealership is now open. For 40 years, Steinborner has provided South Australians with outstanding customer service, exceptional value, and a large selection of new, used, and demo vehicles. The Steinborner story continues with the opening of their new state-of-the-art Mazda dealership in Barossa Valley. Barossa Mazda. It's well worth the trip. BarossaMazda.com.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
David Penberthy.
First 3 callers through will participate. One of those walks away with a $100 Samtas seafood voucher. Get calling now. Very easy game
for
to
all
play.
your
Always a lot of
seafood
fun.
needs.
Exactly right. It'll be a lifetime's worth of seafood at Samtas. $100 worth.
4 kilos for $60.
Exactly right.
Spend the remaining 40 on,
You can do the math. What's that? How many kilos?
4 kilos for $60.
Sam, how many kilos for $100?
Don't know.
8223 is the number. Get calling now for Feedback Friday.
It's time to Flashback with Michael Smith.
Morning to you, Michael.
Good morning, Will and David. On the Flashback this week, we are celebrating the remarkable success of arguably Adelaide's most unlikely and certainly most humble ever pop star. It's 50 years since Sister Janet Mead rocketed up the charts with her rock version of the Lord's Prayer. This was an extraordinary period in South Australian music. Not only did she chart here, it was sold in 31 countries around the world, and she became the first Australian ever to sell 1 million records in America. Not only did she sell 1 million records, in 1975, she was nominated for a Grammy. She didn't win, but, she came home proud. She lost to Elvis, of all people.
It's such a great story.
Song. Sister Janet Mead, of course, was a Sister of Mercy. She taught at St. Aloysius College in the city, and music was a very integral part of her curriculum. So she found herself making a lot of cassettes for people. That was obviously very time-consuming. So someone said, why don't we go into the studio and cut a record, as they said in those days. They flew to Festival Records in Sydney, put down this track, but no one had any idea how successful it would be. I've caught up with Joyce Vandersman, who these days runs the Centre for Homeless People that Sister Janet set up in Moore Street in the city. She was also a long-term friend of Sister Janet, and she says no one had any idea what this song would do.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
She had no idea that it would be so popular. It didn't interrupt her life at all, but she tried to be very gracious about it. Janet, as you probably can guess, was very shy and totally humble.
One of the success to be about her, and she used her voice and new prominence to really challenge people about Adelaide's homeless crisis. She was able to talk directly to the Lord Mayor, to the Premier, and achieve a lot in terms of social justice. A remarkable South Australian.
She certainly was, Michael. She only passed away a couple of years ago, from memory.
Indeed. Of course, she was named South Australian of the Year. She was inducted into the South Australian Music Hall of Fame, and after she died, David, a couple of years ago, was recognised by the National Film and Sound Archive. But community work, very much her focus, helping the homeless, and of course the need for those services as great as ever today with the cost of living crisis.
Mm.
Great piece
South
of
Australian.
South Australian and musical history, Sister Janet Mead.
It's got such a uniquely awesome sound, that song. Like it's got that real 70s sort of like the little drum beat in it. Like it's of its era.
Absolutely. Michael Smith will take you there as part of 7 News Flashback segment, 6 o'clock on Sunday night. 5AA News is coming up. I think we've got one more spot available for Feedback Friday, maybe a couple. 8223 0055. I can see the phone lines ringing at the moment. Give it a buzz right now, though, and you will give yourself a good chance to get on board and participate in today's Feedback Friday. 5 questions, no wrong answers, and potentially a whole lot of fish.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Sunny and 31 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Jess Adamson.
From chips to replacements, make Complete Windscreens your insurer repairer of choice. CompleteWindscreens.com.au.
A trip to the airport this morning has turned into a trip to the emergency room for a rideshare passenger. Their SUV was hit by a truck at Cowandilla and then slammed into a light pole. It happened at the intersection of Sir Donald Bradman Drive and Marion Road around 4 a.m. The passenger, a 46-year-old overseas visitor, was taken to hospital as a precaution. The rideshare driver wasn't injured but issued with an expiation notice for failing to stop at a red light. The truck driver also escaped unhurt. A man wanted by police has been located in a wheelie bin at Parkholme. Patrols were called to Pildappa Avenue in the early hours of this morning after a resident noticed a suspicious person on their CCTV cameras. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says they gave chase on foot but then lost sight of the suspect.
PD Edge was called in to help with a search while patrol was caught in the area. An Edge searched along Country Avenue indicating on a wheelie bin. At the same time, the homeowner came out and said, "I think there's somebody in the bin."
A 30-year-old man was arrested. In his possession was a small amount of methamphetamine and 2 ice pipes. Hillfront Court today. Hundreds of new parking spaces are now available at the Tea Tree Plaza Park and Ride. Premier Peter Malinauskas says it means commuters in the northeastern suburbs will have more secure parking options available and won't need to park in surrounding streets anymore.
The capacity of the Park and Ride going from 700 up to 1,200 to meet that demand we know exists.
A new report shows more than half of South Australians would wait until they're threatened by a fire before leaving. The research comes as the CFS commemorates Bushfire Resilience Day, an annual event to remember and honour those who died in a fire. Emergency Services Minister Joe Sockarch says it's a good day for all South Australians to consider how prepared they are. Melbourne scientists are working toward making liver failure a thing of the past. Researchers at the Peter Mac have discovered how the organ regrows after injury. The team has tracked the gene pathway which triggers regeneration and believe drugs could prompt liver renewal. Well, many Australians are sticking to their New Year's resolutions, with gyms and fitness clubs coming out on top of household spending for January. CommBank data shows the fitness sector was up 13% after a 5% drop-off in December. Chief economist Stephen Halmarick says travel was also high on the spending list.
The increase in January 24 was pretty similar to last year. So this volatility over the summer months has been a pattern for recent years where we get some pretty good strength in November in spending, usually around the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, weakness in December, and then a bit of a rebound in January.
All roads lead to Melbourne today. If you're a Taylor Swift fan, there are plenty of local fans driving over with the first of 3 concerts at the MCG happening tonight. Some Swifties are flying over. The airline's putting on extra flights to cope with increased demand. 5AA's Jade Robran is at the airport.
It is chock-a-block full of Swiftie fans jumping on flights, heading over to go and see her. It's really sweet. All the shops down here are belting out Taylor Swift tunes. There's mums and daughters, there's besties, sisters, dads and daughters. They're all, everyone's dressed up in costume. There's a lot of glitter.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Order a new roller door from Gliderroll before February 28 and receive a $100 gift voucher. T's and C's apply.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Jess. Port Adelaide's 2004 Premiership team and 4 past greats have been inducted into the club's Hall of Fame. David Brown, Peter Burgoyne, Mark Kretschmer and Brendan Lade were among those recognised at a gala dinner last night. To cricket, and Darcy Brown's 5-wicket haul has Australia in a strong position after the opening day of the women's test against South Africa in Perth. After bowling the tourists out for only 76, Australia finished at 5 for 251 at stumps, a lead already of 175 runs. Let's go to golf. 15-time major champion Tiger Woods has looked solid as he makes his return to the PGA Tour. He's got just the one hole to play in his opening round at the Genesis Invitational in California, and he just made birdie on the par 5 17th to get back to even par.
Okay, back to even par. It has been a seesaw kind of day with birdies and bogeys being traded.
Audio there thanks to Fox. He's 7 shots behind leader Patrick Cantlay, who's just finished his round, while Aussie Jason Day is currently 4 under and tracking nicely. Well, 7-time MotoGP World Champion Valentino Rossi is returning for another crack on 4 wheels at the Bathurst 12 Hour. The Italian made a big impact at last year's event and is determined to enjoy success at Mount Panorama.
The atmosphere is great because I have a lot of people in the track. And you have a lot of support from the fan, but for me the magic of this place is the layout of the track because it's very unique. It's like a mountain road.
And the Hockeyroos have moved to 2nd place on the Pro League standings. That's after a 4-0 win over the United States. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thank you, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
When you cover things, they last longer. Same goes for you. Save your skin. Download the SunSmart app.
G'day there at Trinity Gardens. Car and truck crash on Port Rush Road near Lewis Road. Croydon Park, collision there too. South Road near Regency Road. Look out for works at Windsor Gardens. St Alts Road near Lagonda Drive. Getting busy South Road at Theberton with the Camera Lines Road at Holden Hill. Breakfast is sorted at OTR from 5 to 11 a.m. with $5 toasties. All toasted to golden crunchy perfection. OTR. Making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Stay cool. Service your aircon at Automasters. And keep cool with Cool Now, Pay Later options.
31 and sunny today, 33 tomorrow, 35 on Sunday and up to 37 on Monday. Right now it's 19 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Ladies, is the need to wee all the time making your life a misery? Caruso's Wee Less to the rescue. Caruso's Wee Less relieves the annoying and inconvenient feeling that you need to go to the bathroom too often and supports bladder health and function. So if your need to wee all the time is getting in the way of enjoying life, try Caruso's Wee Less today. Caruso's Wee Less is made in Australia, comes with a money-back guarantee and is available from leading pharmacies and health food stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Need an electrician? Ken Hall Electricians. We're qualified electricians for power points, sensor lights, smoke alarms, rewires and inspections. And we're as local as you. So give Ken a call. Ken Hall Electricians, 8364 5855.
Live cheaper this summer with Cheapest Chips.
Cheapest Chips.
Cool off with all pools, a whopping 25% off. 25-litre air fryer oven, now only $149. Sit under a 3x3 metre gazebo, only $49. And don't miss these cheap everyday deals. Finish 110-pack dish taps for $18.99 and 2-litre True Blue soft drinks, 2 for $4. Plus 1 kilo Schmacko's beef straps, a hot buy at $21.99. Do summer cheaper at Cheapest Chips, in store or online.
When you want a retractable door screen, you want uninterrupted views and natural ventilation combined with protection from insects. You want Phantom Screens. Our custom-made retractable door screens can be colour matched to your existing decor and span up to 7 metres wide. And they disappear out of sight when not in use. A screen that's there 1 minute, gone the next. From the hills to the coast and everywhere in between, let the fresh air in with Phantom Screens. Get inspired online at phantomscreens.com.au.
Are you sitting down? Great, because what you're about to hear is unprecedented, unbeatable, unparalleled. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen is giving you 3 days, just 3 days to walk in and drive out in your dream Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. All models, all colours, all ready to drive away. This Thursday, Friday and Saturday only, so hurry in. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen's unprecedented 3-day sale. On now and Saturday. Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. This is 5AA Breakfast.
21 minutes to 9. It's Feedback Friday time. If you'd like to play, 8223 0055 is the number. Spot available if you'd like to call in right now. We've got $100 worth of Samtas seafood available.
Feedback Friday today, so have you say feedback.
Nice way to round out the week.
Oh, yeah.
Wrap the stories, both big and small. Just get a sense of what our listeners think of all that's been going on. And what makes it even better is in the process you're giving away $100 worth of Samtas seafood. They do it better than anyone else, fresher than anyone else, and indeed in greater quantities than anyone else.
Yep.
Samtas seafood, great to have them on board for Feedback Friday. Let's start with Mark in Ascot Park. Morning to you, Mark.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Mark, do you celebrate or did you celebrate Valentine's Day?
No. I'm sort of at that age where that's only a distant memory these days.
No, good answer. The Fringe opens tonight, Mark. Will you be going to any performances in the next month?
Yes, I will. I'm actually going to 3 tonight.
Wow.
And then, 3 tonight, yes. And then over the next few weeks, I think I've got about another 5 or 6 lined up at this stage.
You're a regular culture vulture, mate.
What are you seeing?
Absolutely love it.
What are you seeing tonight?
My partner's organised them all.
Okay.
I know there's 3, and we have a small break in between for something to eat as well.
You sound like me, Mark. Just go along for
Leave
the
it to the
ride.
social
Exactly
organiser.
right.
That's it.
How long, Mark, do you reckon it'll be before we're all working a 4-day week?
It's probably something that's going to come in fairly soon, I would imagine. There's a lot of pressure on people and, family management time, and I think it's something that will probably happen over the next probably 10 years.
I mean, if computers and AI are good for anything, surely it's shortening how much work the actual flesh and blood human beings need to do, isn't it? Isn't that the whole sort of contract we have with these machines?
Yeah, you would imagine that's the case.
We think a conservative organisation like Santos can move to a 9-day fortnight.
Yeah.
Becoming the way of the world, isn't it?
Mark, what do you put on your cornflakes?
Just the old plain milk and a bit of sugar.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Kellogg's
Are you still a cornflakes consumer, Mark? You're into them?
Yes. I still have a bowl every now and again.
Yeah, good stuff.
Kellogg's turned 100 this year. Hey, Mark, have you ever been as drunk as Barnaby Joyce?
Well, I think I might have back in my younger days on the odd occasion. I remember being carried in the front door by a couple of cricket mates when I was about 17, unable to walk. So, I know how he feels.
But you weren't a shadow minister at the time.
No, not quite.
Thank you, Mark. Let's go to Bellevue Heights. Steve, do you reckon we need the
Good morning.
Do you reckon we need the Adelaide City Council?
In a straight-out word, no. I mean, councils generally are just, as my father described them, third-rate politicians.
We'd run out of a bit of content if they weren't there.
That's true.
We got a vested interest in their mediocrity.
Oh my goodness! I think all in all, if we did it without them, I don't think we noticed it.
I wonder what the vote would be for all of Adelaide to get rid of the Adelaide City Council. What would they poll at, just to abolish the whole entity?
Well, it'd be a good thing to find out.
50% plus one.
Yeah, I think we'd get there. The Crows and Port are playing in a practice match against each other next Friday. Are you ready for footy to start, Steve?
Oh, more than ready. I'll tell you now, my son certainly is.
Yeah, footy's in the air, you can smell it.
Gives a structure to your life, footy, doesn't it, Steve?
Well, it does. I mean, gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I mean, I work as a carer and I've got a client hanging out for the practice matches.
Yeah, well, only a week to
go. Steve, as a kid, did you enjoy fairy bread?
That was a hell of a long time ago.
Or even as an adult, Steve?
Can't remember, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. But you presumably you probably consumed it and you're still here, Steve. So that's
Live to tell the tale.
I survived.
Yeah. Don't tell the education department. Do you think proposing on Valentine's Day, like the Prime Minister did, is cheesy or romantic?
Bit of both, but probably more cheese than anything else.
Just lastly, Steve, a bit of sad news. An Adelaide institution, Enzo's, is going to be closing its doors. Have you ever dined at Enzo's?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
They're on Port Road, next to Channel 7 these days.
Yeah, probably have, but yeah, I mean, there are a lot of nice eateries around the city.
Yeah, there are these days.
I tell you,
we're very lucky in Adelaide.
If you want a table, you'd better hop to it, because I know a stack of people who are madly booking to get in there, because it closes, I think, May the 3rd or something like that. That's almost like your cafeteria there at Channel 7, Will.
Yeah, a lot of functions take place over at old Enzo's.
Yeah.
They might have to use the Gov now, which will be a different vibe. Yeah. Paul in Woodville, good morning.
Morning, guys.
You a Swiftie?
Swiftie?
Yeah.
As in
no.
Taylor.
Oh! No, my...
Say no more, Paul. Asked and answered.
No, not at all, mate.
The Australian Defence Force is lowering the fitness levels required to get in. Do you think you'd be fit enough to get into the armed forces?
Oh, mate, if they don't take any... if they don't do it on a Saturday and Sunday when I've had too many beers, I might be all right.
We should have given you the Barnaby Joyce question.
I don't know. With what they're lowering it to at Paul, I reckon you might still get in on a Saturday and Sunday these days.
I failed the physical because I just fallen off a planter box.
The Adelaide Ice Arena's Zamboni machine sent multiple people to hospital this week with a gas leak. When did you last ice skate, Paul?
We were talking about this the other day. Look, I don't think I've been to the ice arena for about 25 years. And it's a shame, isn't it? Because I've got young kids that will never experience that as well. So,
I don't think it's changed much since then by the sounds of things.
I don't think so either.
Don't make the mistake of going to ice skate at the one in Hindley Street, because it's now the Crazy Horse.
Is that your excuse, is it?
I've never stepped foot in there.
I thought it was the ice arena. It took me 4 hours to realise it wasn't.
Mate, God strike me, as God is my witness, I've never stepped foot in that place.
Oh, the man doth protest too much. More of a 108s guy then. Paul, now, we spoke to the custodian of the excellent Big Shed Brewery just at 8 o'clock about hopefully them continuing. Do you go to any local craft breweries?
Yeah, we've got a fair few around our area. So yeah, we've been to the Big Shed a fair few times. It's a great venue.
Just down the road in Woodville, mate.
Just down the road, yeah. Well, we've got a few around Port Adelaide Way. So they're great. So yeah, we venture them pretty frequently. So yeah, it's they're good to have for South Australia.
100%.
And just lastly, Paul, if you're invited to Albo's wedding, what gift would you get him?
Well, being an Italian background, we'd have to just put money in an envelope, wouldn't you? That's the Italian way of doing things.
I reckon we've done enough of that with Albo. Sorry, I already gave.
Good on you, Paul. Thank you. Who gets the $100 Samtaz seafood voucher?
Hard. Mark, Steve, Paul. Let's give it a Paul.
All right, Paul. $100 worth of Samtaz seafood coming your way. Big thanks to everyone who participated in Feedback Friday. Let's check traffic. Jade Robrin still to come. When the UV's 3 and above, cover up. Use sun protection. Stay SunSmart. Download the SunSmart app.
Trinity Gardens this morning. Car and truck crash on Portrush Road near Devitt Avenue. Croydon Park, another collision there. South Road near Regency Road. And work slowing things up throughout Maslin Beach Commercial Road near Golf Parade. Cameras this morning. Church Road, Campbelltown and Darley Road at Paradise. Got a crazy deal on a new LG TV at JB Hi-Fi. Like $1,000 of a 65-inch OLED. JB's 2023 LG TV run out on now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
On 5AA mornings today, the nuclear power issue, the opposition looking set to make this a priority in the upcoming election. And how prepared are people living in bushfire-prone areas for a fire danger day? A new report showing more than half would wait until they're threatened by a fire before deciding to leave their homes. Those stories and more, Bob Byrne today, Adelaide Remembers When as well. Your calls, I'm Matthew Pantelis. Look forward to your company from 9.
Get obsessed with the Honda SUV range at Formula Honda, Modbury and Glen Osmond. Whether it's the compact HRV, the sporty mid-sized Honda ZRV, or the spacious CRV. And for a limited time, new Honda SUVs come with a 7-year warranty, 7-year roadside assist, and 5 standard low-price services at $199 each. Visit Formula Honda, Modbury or Glen Osmond and test drive today. Vehicles used for a commercial purpose have a 7-year or 200,000 kilometre warranty, whichever occurs first. T's and C's at honda.com.au.
If your business needs finance fast, speak to Universal Finance right now. Universal Finance make business loans easy. Unsecured business loans and business overdrafts. Universal Finance can help your business now with same-day settlements in most cases. See Universal Finance in Kent Town or search Universal Finance. This is general advice only, and you should consider the terms and conditions before determining whether this advice is suitable for your situation.
For over 3 decades, Regent Homes has been synonymous with crafting architecturally bespoke homes, each one a testament to Regent Homes' unwavering commitment to design, quality and sophistication. And because Regent Homes is a South Australian family-owned company, they understand more than anyone what it takes to build a family home. Experience Regent Homes' award-winning display homes at Lightsview and Blackwood Park. Innovative design, elevated living. Visit regenthomes.com.au.
At Coles, make lunch or dinner a chicken winner with Coles RSPCA approved chicken breast schnitzel plain crumb 600 grams down to just $9 a pack. That's our lowest price in 18 months. That's great value, hands down, at Coles.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
10 to 9, let's do Fuel Watch, find out when fuel is at its cheapest and where to fill up nearby with the free RAA app. It's not great, to put it bluntly, out there. There's only a few locations that are under $2 this morning. The cheapest among them, the ex-convenience Main North Road Jeps Cross at $1.87.9. The cheapest diesel is also in the same location. It's the ex-convenience Main North Road Jeps Cross, and it's sitting at $1.87.5. Great food segment coming up with Stacey Lee today. With the magnificent segment they do. She's going to be catching up with the team from Gang Gang and Anchovy Bandit for her Foodie Friday. Big thanks to Smeg and Pals, of course. If you're building or renovating, your first choice should be visiting the Smeg showroom at Debney Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg and Pals. Good burgers at Gang Gang, and Anchovy Bandit, of course, have that sandwich joint next door that they run. It's unbelievable.
Killer Sandos. Quite a lot of texts from people saying they were at the Matchbox 20 last night. And another one here, speaking of people who've met the Rolling Stones, we had a text from someone who said that they met both Mick and Keith in the mall.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah, they really got out and about when they were here.
Mark Oaston sent me a text saying that Mick turned up at La Trappe one night and said, "Oh, is it possible to get a table?" And Billy, the waiter, said, "No, sorry, we're closed."
Turn Mick Jagger away.
And then they sort of pressed the point, and someone said, "Are you actually aware who that is?" And so they did reopen the kitchen, and they were there for several hours, and there's a photo of them on the wall at La Trappe.
That's superb. Yeah. Sorry, that's the policy.
That's right.
Kitchen's closed. 8 to 9. Speaking of being out and about and on the road, let's cross down to Jade Robberin, who is, of course, out on the road thanks to Dutton's Big 10 Ford, GM Haval, Hyundai, Isuzu, Ute, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Ram, Subaru and Volkswagen. Dutton's easy to do business with. Morning again, Jade.
Dave, well, good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm on the corner of East Terrace and Rundle Street, out the corner of Garden of Unearthly Delights and also Gluttony, because the Fringe, it kicks off today, which is super exciting. The festival that basically stops the city. It opens its doors in just a few hours' time. I was really lucky enough to have a bit of a walkthrough yesterday through Gluttony and also the Garden of Unearthly Delights. And I know we do say this every year, but this year it really is bigger and better than ever before. Geographically, it is bigger as well. So lots of things going on, more than 1,400 shows are going to be on around the state, featuring 6,000 artists in about 500 venues across South Australia. I got a snapshot of a few shows yesterday. Charmaine Jones, put her on your to-do list. She heads up the Gospel Collective Choir, which is absolutely stunning. They're doing a show bringing the spirit of Whitney Houston back to life, and her voice is just incredible. And a show called Limbo is back in the garden. Producer Scott Maidman. It's a bit of it's a sexy cabaret show. And get this, pop queen Madonna. She's a massive fan of this show. She saw it twice and loved it so much that she asked Scott to join him and her show and choreograph it and host a couple of parties as well. But lots going on. We know that the government injected an additional $8 million over 4 years, which has meant that the Fringe has been able to expand in a big way. And this year it's heading to regions with more than 120 shows across the Limestone Coast, the Murraylands, Riverland, York and Eyre Peninsulas, Fleurieu Peninsula, Kangaroo Island, Barossa Valley, Clare Valley, and also up in the Adelaide Hills as well. And it is massive for the state, specifically for economic reasons, as well as the fact that we're all out and about having a really good time. 50,000 tourists from interstate and across the world are expected to visit our beautiful state, and all that spending and tickets sold, it brings in around $105 million. So not bad for a month of fun. I had a quick chat with Heather Kroll, the director of the Fringe, who has excellent yellow and pink hair this year. I know she changes it every year. It's yellow and pink this year. You know, there's this chapel that pops up. It's in Light Square. It's come over from the UK, and you can actually head in there and get married or renew your vows. She staged that a day ago, and her partner actually got down on one knee and proposed. So this is a huge Fringe year for her. But look, I caught up with Prinny Stevens, who is also a Fringe ambassador. I spoke to her ahead of her show Lady Got the Blues. Prinny, welcome back to Adelaide, and also as a Fringe ambassador. That's pretty cool.
I mean, I'm so excited to be ambassador. It's only been a few years of doing the Fringe, but I never thought I'd be here, but it's just so exciting. I've had so many friends that have done it in the past, at Queen Kong and Courtney Act and Ruben, just so many. It's an absolute honour, and to wave the flag is such an honour, and so excited to be here. I just can't wait. You can feel it in the air, right? This opening weekend, and I've never been here for the opening weekend, so very exciting.
More than 1,300 things to go and see and do. Yep. How on earth do we pick?
Well, there's such a variety. I think, you know, Adelaideans are very versed in this, but also I think try something new this year. You know, get out and see more. There's such a variety, but don't stick with what you know. That's my advice for this year. Obviously go back and see the ones you love, but try something different and get out.
Now, you are back for 2.0, Lady Sings the Blues.
Yes.
Wow. The first was incredible. How do you even top that? Tell us all about the show.
Well, the biggest thing that happened with Lady Sings the Blues was everyone would walk out and say, you missed my favourite person. So there's Aretha Franklin, Nina Simone, Tina Turner has passed since. There's obviously Beyonce, Billie Holiday, obviously. But there is just countless amounts of incredible ladies who have sung and made music what it is now. So I could do this until I'm 80.
Where can we see you and when?
We are at Gluttony from the 16th of February to the 25th. Come on down to Gluttony at Kingfisher, 8:40 every night.
She's an absolute superstar, Prinny. And now we know the Fringe is super fun. Road closures aren't so fun, but that comes with the Fringe. And tonight there are a lot of road closures in and around Rundle Street, East Terrace, Frome Street as well, in and around the Synagogue Place. And they kick off at around 4 p.m. until 1 a.m. But jump onto the City of Adelaide website, because those times and streets are changing over the weekend, guys. But it is going to be a fun-filled couple of weeks here in Adelaide. Cannot wait to get here tonight.
Magnificent work, Jade. And great backdrop on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream there, watching Jade do her work. Great to have her on board. Really enjoyed it.
You're doing a Fringe show this year, Will?
No, I haven't been asked.
Okay.
Yeah, I imagine the invite's coming.
Yeah, we'll talk to Heather.
When does it start?
That.
Tonight.
I'll send Heather
right.
a text, see if there's any gaps left.
I just wonder if there was a communication issue.
Maybe, yeah.
I think that's what it would have to be. Yeah.
Hey, Dean in Parafield Gardens, you have both hands on a meat tray on account of your excellent entry earlier, your unyielding love and affection for the Adelaide Oval, an affection that is shared by the rest of us. Big thanks to the excellent people at Chanellas.
That's
Love
right.
Chanellas.
Liam Jonah and the team, my local butcher Chanellas, 62 Prospect Road at Prospect. That's all from us. Enjoy the great weather and the weekend, and stick around for Matt Pantelis. We'll see you Monday.
See you